here we are, guys. We are officially at episode number 7, and this one's going to be a good one. We have Callahan in the hot seat, and we're going to be asking him all of his deepest and darkest secrets. Primarily, where does he keep his Teletubbies? Did you ever play with Teletubbies?
I did
As a kid.
I was more of a Power Ranger guy.
Power Ranger. That makes sense. But before we get into it, like we always do, we're going to open up in prayer, and let's go. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for the gift of tonight, the gift of my brothers, the gift of this time that you've given to us away from the chaos of raising young families and work and everything else, just to pause and to commune with one another, to commune with you. And so we ask, Lord Jesus, come into our time. Fill this space, Father, with your words. Ultimately, Lord, our desire is that this is edifying to each other and to the community and glorifying to you. We pray all this, Lord, in your holy name. Amen.
Amen.
Awesome. Caleb.
Yes.
How does it feel? Is this your first podcast, not asking questions, but actually getting asked questions?
It is.
As like an interview style.
Not asking questions or talking about specific topics, right?
Yeah.
So I've been on other podcasts where we talk about apologetics or the book of Genesis or the Bible or something like that, but just being interviewed outside of the modeling and acting industry, yes.
Yeah.
I was interviewed a lot during that.
Yeah.
Outside of that, yes.
Business
interviews
is very different than, totally get that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll start off where we start off with everyone. Caveman Combine. Where'd you come in at?
Well, I was part of the formation of it. So the year one.
What was the hardest thing?
In year one?
Yeah.
Trying to think through it and compete in it at the same time. Because in year one, even the competitors, I was kind of like competing, but we were still thinking through the process.
Yeah.
Right. We were still trying to figure it out. I remember walking in to the huddle, like, all right, what are we doing here? Like, we're still talking about as competing. Yeah. So that was kind of difficult because when I get into it, I'm a very intense person. So I'd get into it. And I wanted, part of the time I was like, I just want to compete.
Yeah. But
we still had, things we were working through. So,
of all, you've competed 2 years, and then you've helped out pretty much all 4. Was the first year the hardest?
Nope.
Really?
Yep.
What was
the years I didn't compete and had to sit there and watch?
A little twist on there. Yeah. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
That's tough.
I would much rather be sweating and suffering and getting after it than sitting there and watching and putting it on.
Yeah.
There's sacrifice in that, and I enjoy getting to watch other men, but when we get to the Warrior Games, I just struggle. I'm like, can we just compete with just in this moment?
Can we just jump in?
Can we just jump in here?
Yeah.
Like this past year, I tried to persuade y'all. I'm like, what if we had like a captain or
a chieftain
team just for this? I was trying to like pull it off. Nobody's like, how does that even make sense? It doesn't, but we get to compete.
Oh yeah. No, I was thinking that would be a good option to get the tribesmen to kind of see the grit and everything, the ones that haven't seen us.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get new ones that have never seen you compete.
Yeah.
Now, maybe they might come and you decide next year you're going to compete, like I'm going in.
Oh, I am.
Okay, there you go. But then there's going to be some that never do, and it's like it gives that. No, I'm not just up here giving all this talk and pomp. Yeah. Like I'm part of it. Matter of fact, we're throwing it like it'd be kind of cool.
Take on a tribesman, win a top spot.
Yeah. Or
I can't tell you how bad I wanted to get on the Pugil sticks and hit Matt McFarland in the face.
well, think of that.
Love you, Matt.
That or thinking about Zach Lee, because we kind of had a bad situation with mine.
Yeah.
Like to be able to go up in there and just be like, after so much competition's gone on, and be like, Zach Lee to the thing, and Zach just gets out there like thinking, okay, which tribes am I doing? And then here I come, like rip a shirt off or something and come in there.
Oh yeah.
We're
American Gladiator
we're going back
style.
But it's like being able to do
my
something
gauges
like that,
are out this time.
Yeah. I'm not going to wear those this time. But do something like that where it shows that the people leading it, we have just as much gumption as the rest of it.
Yeah.
We have no problem with getting involved.
I definitely think we've talked about this. There has to be a caveman extreme at some point.
Yeah.
There has to be one. You've went through the first one, and it's going to be caveman extreme, and it's going to be next level, right? And it will be Warrior Games next level, obstacle course next level. Like the team, like it's just going to be wild, and you just know it. And if you sign up for it, this is going to push you to the max, right? Mm-hmm. We got to have that. Oh, yeah. When does that come? I don't know, but it's got to be a part.
Yeah. Okay, so I could go so many different directions, but I kind of like what we did with my brother. So take us back to before we met, childhood. You grew up North Georgia?
Yeah, grew up in North Georgia. Grew up in a like a lot of people in North Georgia, in a Bible home.
Okay.
Right. We were in church every day. The doors were open. We had a very tight-knit community church. We had something happen. I don't remember it was, I guess I was about 9 or 10, and our pastor got caught in infidelity, and that kind of blew our church up. We ended up, and we had a very tight-knit community church. Like I'm talking
how many people? How big?
I bet you we had
ballpark
50 to 80 people.
Okay.
But like we were meeting on Wednesday nights, Sundays. You ate after church with each other. Your families hung out together. I mean, it was very tight knit. It was cool. It was a cool environment for little kids, right? When that happened, just like in anything, they tried to get held together for a season, but it just didn't work. I mean.
You're saying after,
and it just never was the same. And like that's a very meaningful message to men out there. Like, be careful. Like, it can be difficult to ever regain certain. I mean, you can, but it doesn't mean you will. Then we moved on and went to another church, which was a good church. But we were in church growing up. We were a very competitive home. We did athletics as much as we were in church. We were on ball fields.
Yeah.
I mean, my dad,
what sports?
So every baseball, basketball, football.
Okay.
Right. I mean, growing up, my best sport was baseball by far. I got burnt out. I mean, I was on a diamond probably, I'm not exaggerating, over 150 days a year.
What was your position?
Shortstop, pitcher.
Okay.
Loved baseball. We got so good at one point, though, that we were beating everybody so bad it just got boring. And if you weren't playing, like back then, you didn't have travel ball.
Yeah, right.
Right? It was like Dizzy Dean and All-Stars, and that was that's all you got to play highly competitive ball. Yep. But around here, we just smoked everybody. It was either us or Pleasant Grove every year, So by the time I was 12 or 13, I quit playing baseball. I just got tired of it and decided I want to be a good basketball player. So my middle school years, I trained like crazy. My dad told me, here's what my dad did. This kind of tells you my personality. I wanted to play travel basketball. My dad said, as soon as I have a point guard that can get the ball up the court, we'll play travel basketball. And I went, okay. So for 1 year, I just dribbled all the time. Dribbling drills. Wow. I was dribbling 1 or 2, 3 hours a day, just getting to where I was like, I'm going to get the ball up the court. Like, that's all I got to do to play. So I ended up doing that, became really good at basketball through my 7th and 8th grade year, and then loved football. I actually loved the defensive side of football, though.
Interesting.
I loved playing linebacker.
Why?
I just loved hitting people.
Yeah.
I was very contact driven, did martial arts growing up. I was just really weird like that. I really
How heavy
contact.
Are you? Are you big enough to play?
Yeah. I mean, I was probably, in high school, I was around 195 to 205.
Okay. Yeah.
But I'll never forget when I started loving contact. I was more timid, and we were at a and I tell this story to tell dads, like, this is going to sound, to today's world, is going to be like, oh, how dare he did that.
Yeah.
Right? But I was at practice. I was probably 8, 9 years old. And there's a guy named Jacob Bryson, and he was just a stud. I mean, for our age.
Had a beard.
Oh, dude, bigger than everybody. I mean, outweighed us all by like 50 pounds, could fly. Like just, he just crushed everybody. He's on my team as a running back. And so my dad was like, he ran up the A gap, and I kind of like barely hit him, and he went by me and scored. And my dad said, run it again. And he said, get over here. And he put me at my linebacker, and he was like, Jacob, run through the A gap. And I was like, he knows I'm running up to him in the A gap. Yeah, and he's like, yep, do it. And so right as he did it, my dad grabbed me by the back of the short pants, my football pants, belt, and my cowboy collar, and launched me into him, just threw me. And I hit him, and he trucked me. I mean, just stomped on my face mask. I mean, it was brutal. Just, I mean, it was just crushing. And I got up, and he took a gamble. But I got up, and he said, did that hurt? And I was like, no. Yeah. And he was like, that's right. It didn't. It's all in your head. And from that point forward, I was a freaking banshee. I mean, like, I was running around. I stayed hurt most of my time playing because I just played recklessly. Yeah. Like, I threw my body at things. Like, if I had a chance to run down the sideline and run out of bounds, I was like, no, yeah. I'd try to run the guy over, right? Yeah. I mean, so, like, I don't know. Like, it just became, like, addicting in that. So I loved football. Ended up playing quarterback, I'd say for 3.5 years. I started 7 years as a freshman. It was great for me. Learned a lot of leadership skills through that. Wanted to play defense. Ended up being a quarterback. And went on to play college football for a couple of years. Was kind of plagued by injury. I separated my shoulder my senior year and had to inject it a bunch of games to be able to keep playing. And it just never healed from that. Yeah. So, but God had a plan. I needed to be humbled. And that was kind of a humbling process for me to constantly be trying to achieve that goal and get myself into a position of playing. And every time I would, there would be another kind of injury that would come along. Yeah. And I kind of went through a season where I was kind of mad at God. I tell people I went through an internal agnostic season. Yeah. Not external, internal, right? Because I didn't want my family, I didn't want my family to be shamed. I didn't want to start going, I'm an atheist, I don't believe in God. And I also think it was the grace of God because although I didn't want to believe in God, I also have always been the type of person that's like, well, I got to have a better why, question to the why, right? I'm not just going to abandon it just because I feel like it. That's just stupid, right? So I was like, all right, so let's get to work. So I went through about 2 years of just like internal doubt and struggle.
Is this when I meet you?
This is right at I was getting through that when you met me.
Okay. So I want to press into that a little bit.
Yeah, I was on the back end of that.
But the large portion of your life that I don't know a lot about is
that part I just said.
Everything you just said.
Yeah.
Yeah. So push into that because what I do know, I think had a profound impact, but you've never really spoken about a lot. And because you gave me fair game before we started.
Go. What you got?
Family dynamic. Okay. You got an older sister.
I do.
Right? She did sports.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
Very good. What? Just real quick, what was the competitive drive? Were you trying to please your dad? Was it just a natural, I enjoy it? Both and?
I think for me it was a drug. Okay. Like I wasn't, like sports-wise, it wasn't, when I got my first taste of competition, man,
I'll do whatever.
I'll do whatever to play this. Like if I can play a game and compete with a bunch of guys, I'm in. Like whatever I got to do. And I want to win. Okay. So like to win, I have to practice. I have to I used to get up at 5:30 in the morning during my high school years and do footwork drills and throwing. I lifted weights in the afternoon. We had football practice in the afternoon, right? I was putting in 5 or 6 hours a day. I probably actually worked too much. I actually hurt myself in my overworking. I didn't have any knowledge of health and nutrition, right? It was just work.
What was that relationship with your dad? Was he pushing you, or were you kind of the main driving mechanism?
Yeah, here's the only way.
Fueling it?
Here's the only way my dad pushed me. Caleb, you can work at a sport or you can work at a plant. Sport. Right? I mean, but you're going to work. You're going to work in my home. And I'll give my kid that option. Yeah. You're going to learn the value of work. Yeah. You can either go do it as a sport of some sort and put a lot of time and energy and understand that you have to work at something to be the best at it. Yeah. Or you're coming to work.
Did you ever feel like your dad was living vicariously through you?
Never.
Okay. In that relationship with your dad, because you've talked about it a lot, what did he do well?
Yeah, so my dad was a crazy worker. He owned a company. He kind of inherited it from my papa, I'll say. He bought it, but it was really like, he always told me he wanted to be a UPS driver, right?
Yeah,
And ended up being a printer, which God took care of him in that way. But he was just in a position where he had to work. He didn't have a choice, right? I mean, his sisters worked for him. He was taking care of his mother. Like, people didn't eat if he didn't work. And and so my dad, I mean, I get that from my dad, my work ethic. But he would go into work and work all day, go to a game and coach us or a practice, come home and eat dinner, kiss my mom and go back to work. And then he'd come home and pick me up, take me to school, and go back to work, right? And then he would work all day and then be back at practice and coach or whatever, and then come home and eat dinner and go back to work. And then, there were seasons, he didn't do that all the time, but there were seasons where he slept at home 2 days a week and then on the weekend, right? And the other times he was at the plant working all night. But he never missed a practice. He always coached us. When we asked to go outside and shoot basketball, he always went. I never remember him telling me no to go out and work.
So like, I'm just thinking that takes a heck of a lot of energy to do that. What was the dynamic like between your dad and your mom? Did he complain a lot? Was she picking like?
Yeah, no. My mom was a great mother. She mothered our home really well. Like she always did the cooking and the cleaning and the laundry and that kind of stuff. She took care of all that. And I think she understood it. I mean, you got to remember those generations, they came from poverty, right? There wasn't a lot of entitlement back then because they didn't have anything to be entitled for.
Right.
And so all my mom had to be able to understand was she understood what it was like to live in poverty. And if David doesn't do this, we go back to poverty. Right. And I think that's something that like our generation might not understand as much. We don't have the contrast for the clarity.
Sure. Right.
We're like, if this doesn't work, we'll just get another job or we'll just do something else. That's maybe you won't. Right. And so I think there was a genuine soberness of understanding the situation. I also think like, if you think back to my mom's dad and my dad's dad, like, they worked, right? Men had to go work, right? They wasn't working for home. You didn't work at home on a computer.
Right.
You didn't you weren't able to do sales on a computer. You had to travel, right? So men were working in the workplace as they grew up. They didn't see their dads from 8 o'clock till 6 o'clock. Like they didn't. So they had that kind of understanding. This is what dads do.
Yeah.
Right. And I think now there's kind of this mix of like, well, you can work from home or you can do this or you can do that. And like, we need to go on one of my vacations and we need to do this kind of stuff, and I just didn't come from that.
You have a lot of cousins?
I have a fair amount.
Fair amount. Were you playing ball with them?
Not some, not a lot. I don't have a lot of cousins that were great at ball. Man, honestly, I was a loner. I just practiced. Like, I just did it myself. I had some guys that would come out there and run routes or maybe go to the gym with me. I worked out at Z's gym with a couple of guys. Z trained us a lot of my years. But I was just a self-motivator. Like, I'd wake up on my own. I'd go run. I'd go lift. And that was something I think I got from my dad too, because you don't see that a lot anymore, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of kids, you go take them and you do something with them. You're like, all right, if you'll do this, you'll get better.
Right.
And it's like, as soon as you leave, they don't do it no more.
Yeah.
Right. It drives me crazy.
Yeah.
So I was a self-motivator. I would go out and do it on my own. I didn't need anybody else to go do it with me. I'd just go. In fact, I didn't care if you did do it with me because I was getting better than you when you weren't there.
Yeah.
Right. So that was kind of how I thought about it. I was like, if you're here with me, you'll be getting good too. I was like, I'm going to be better than you.
Yeah.
Right. So, that was kind of the way I approached it.
Loner, just a personality thing? or did something happen in your childhood that made you a loner?
No, I think it was just a personality thing. I can't think of anything. I mean, even in high school, like I hung out with my dad and his friends more than I did my own friends. Like I had 2 friends I really hung out with in high school. Like I hung out with the boys sometimes, don't get me wrong, but like I went on trips with my dad and his friends, like golf trips, and I played cards on Thursday night before football games with my dad and 3 of his older buddies, right? I mean, like I hung out with my dad and his friends a lot. So older guys.
What was that like growing how age gap between you and your dad? He had you pretty young, right?
65. Yeah. Yeah.
He was what, 60 20?
No, he retired I think at 26? 40 in 2005 at 40. So he would have been in my high school years between 36 and 41, I think.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
I think that's it, yeah.
So he's definitely young. I mean, he's our
younger,
age, right?
Yeah, for sure.
With the high schooler.
Mm-hmm.
And so
that's right. I just thought about that.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Like, think of Josiah being in high school right now.
Yeah.
What do you think that he did that made you, I mean, so many kids now just don't have that experience of, dude, all I want to do is go hang out with my dad and his friends. I mean, that's not the norm. So what was it that he did, and what culture did he create that made you like that?
Yeah, I think the first thing he did is he was there. Right? He was present. Mm-hmm. Right? Like I said, like if we said, "Hey, let's go shoot basketball," he went and shot basketball.
Yeah.
Right? Like he coached all our stuff. Right? Like he genuinely wanted to be there. Right? He enjoyed it. Right? And so I think that's the first thing that drew me to that. And then, you know, I think loners, like you're always calibrating, can I trust this person? And to what degree can I trust this person? And I could trust my dad. Right? And so I genuinely liked hanging out with my dad more than I did with my friends most of the time, because my dad was doing things that I was like growing up into. Right? They were doing the stuff.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I just didn't. And I think I've always kind of been this way. I didn't like doing things that didn't matter. Just like when we talk and have all our conversations.
Yeah.
Like I don't like talking about movies and my trip I took last week and all that. Like if we're going to talk about something substance.
Yeah.
Or I'm not going to talk. Right? Like now I get passionate and love, and I'll talk a lot about things that matter. And I think that was kind of the attraction to my dad and his friends was it felt like it mattered more because it was what men were doing.
Yeah.
Whereas us boys, they were going and drinking by the fire.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like,
Did you ever have that moment where your dad had like a rite of passage for you from boyhood into manhood, or was it just a natural assimilation over time?
No, I think that was just kind of a natural thing. I think that would be a healthy thing that's one thing I do want to do with my son. Mm-hmm. I would like to try to mark that the best that I could. And I think it happened for me. I can't point it.
Yeah.
And I think that's a cool ability to be able to point it.
Yeah, totally.
Right. And I can't do that.
Okay. So 2 things that I'm thinking about, and the conversation hasn't naturally gone there, so I'm just going to poke in on it. I know that your cousin committed suicide.
Correct.
And I've always wondered, I've been like, man, because we don't talk a lot about it, but I know that had a profound impact. Like one of the stories, and you pick it up from here, is I just remember you said, I just left and sat by myself for a long time.
Yeah, so that was, so we used to meet with my mom's side of the family. This is probably not right, but I felt like it was 3 weekends out of the month after church, we were at my mom's side of the family.
Oh, wow.
Like, and we were there all afternoon.
Like a family reunion 3 times a month.
3 times a month, all afternoon. Like, we spent tons of time over there. Church let out, we'd be there till 3, 4 o'clock. Everybody, and nobody missed. And when that happened, it just tore all that apart. You know, like...
How old were you?
I was going into my freshman year. He was an 8th grader. So it was the second day of school, I think. So it was my second day of school at high school. And I remember getting checked out. And it was just, I mean, me and him were playing video games the day before. So, like, when you say cousin, right? Most people are like, oh, yeah, I got a cousin. He's more like my brother. I mean, I grew up with him, like, all the time. Like, day over, like, we were together constantly. And so...
Let me pause you then real quick, because there's a twofold question that was kind of coming to mind. You talked about being a loner, and maybe this is going to lead into this even more with the situation that happened, but were you, through elementary school, middle school, probably more so high school, post that, but elementary school, middle school, would you say that you were the loner, maybe not that you weren't popular, but not the popular person that has tons of friends being a part of the crowd or everything? Would you say that was kind of you? And were you more focused on, like, the people you were hanging out with were like your cousin or family members?
Yeah, I mean, I was popular simply because I was the quarterback. So,
but you didn't become quarterback until later, right?
No, my 7th and 8th grade year too. So I was the best basketball player, quarterback, all that. But I just it didn't translate into hanging out. Now in my middle school years, I hung out with a lot of the boys. Right, I couldn't drive. You kind of went and back then, by the way, we were doing boys stuff. Right, it hadn't got into the kind of drinking at the fires and all that kind of stuff, right? We were having a blast. So I had a lot of good friends in middle school. I'm not connecting the Brett thing to the loner mentality. I had about 3 friends that I really hung out in high school with, right, for the most part, right? And I enjoyed hanging out with them. And it really got to this relationship of when they were doing that, they just didn't call me. And, they just kind of knew, like, he's not going to go to that. So I didn't. And the one thing I'll say I wish I would have done less of, something I really, really, really wish I would have done less of, was, and nothing against her, she was wonderful. And me and her were really we were best friends in high school, was I wish I would have not dated in high school. Not because she wasn't a wonderful girl, she was, but I wasn't ready to date.
Yeah.
I'm a high school boy.
Yeah.
Like, what do I know about dating? What do I know about girls and love and all? I don't know any of that.
Yeah.
I'm not ready for that.
Yep.
Right. And so, like, if I could go back and do one thing different, I would not have dated in high school.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Because me and my girlfriend were way too connected in high school. And, like, I went through, a family divorce with her. I went through a death of her cousin on a 4-wheeler accident. Like, we really were best friends in a lot of ways. And I don't think a boy's best friend should be a girl in high school. Right? Like, I just
certainly
don't.
Not someone that's not going to be your wife.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Exactly. So if I could go back, that would be something I did different. Again, it's not because of her, because I wasn't ready.
Right.
As a boy is not ready in high school.
Yeah.
In this day and age, in this culture, to be dating like that. Right?
So circle back to your cousin. What effect, obviously, on the family reunions every 3 times a month?
Yeah, that was gone.
Just gone.
Yeah.
How was it affecting the family, and then how did that percolate into you?
Yeah, I mean, not long after that, my aunt and uncle got a divorce for other reasons, which I'm sure that empowered it, right? I don't know, man. I mean, because the family wasn't connecting as much anymore. I lost contact with his sister and brother. Like, I knew of what was going on, but I didn't know them the way that I used to know them, right?
Yeah.
And it was tough. I mean, it was tough for a couple of years, just because you're still processing that, right? I mean, like, where's Brett?
Yeah.
I remember, for a long time, it'd be like, man, I wonder what Brett would look like. I mean, I still do that occasionally.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder what Brett would look like now. Because, he's 1 year behind me.
Yeah.
What would he be doing right now if he was alive?
Yeah.
So that still floats in the back of your head.
How'd your dad or mom help you process that?
I don't remember, if I'm honest. Not like Callahans are a little bit different, and this is one of the things I'll say, or the way in which we handle things. Obviously, you sit down, you talk about death, right? But at that point, I'd already talked about this a lot, right? It was just kind of reiterating the things that we know, right? That God's in control. Yeah. He's on the throne. We can't know all the things that we would like to know.
Yeah.
But this is what it is.
Yeah.
Right. And we're going to pray through it. We're going to process through it. We're going to pray for those around us, and we're going to move forward. And that's, I mean, not to, overly sugarcoat it, because it's not going to get that way, but it is what it is, right? I mean, it's like you can keep pounding it or you can accept it.
Yeah.
And you can process it and move on, right? And that's kind of the way I think we kind of do things, a lot of things. It's like, and I think even that helps me with other people. Like, if you do something and you ask forgiveness from me, like, it's over.
Yeah.
I'll move on.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna bring it up again. I'm not gonna hold it against you. I'm not gonna, like, it's done.
Yeah.
Like, we're good.
Yeah. Wholeheartedly to that. Amen. When I think about your mom and your dad and just our community, how so many people find a mother in Gigi or a dad in Papa, right? Like, obviously it's by the grace of God really easy to go back and I mean, you just were giving your dad honor, because working like a dog and going into work right after coaching a team and all that kind of stuff. But all men and all people fall short of the glory of God. In what ways did your parents shape and mold you that you kind of look back on and you're like, maybe.
Yeah. So there's,
so
else. Part of it's what I just said, right? The freedom in dating, but again, like it's kind of one of these things, like the freedom in dating for sure. I wish they would have said, hey, look, you're not ready.
Yeah.
Like, no dating. Like, we're not dating.
Did you just make that decision? They're like, all right, yeah, we'll go with it.
It's like kind of like everybody does nowadays.
Okay.
Like, I don't know many people like that are like overly strict on that. Like, it's like, hey, I got a girlfriend. Well, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Like, that's just the way it kind of is, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and so that, and then like also like when I picked colleges, I had a ton of scholarship to about every D1 AA school you could imagine. And then I had about 6 or 7 walk-ons from big D1 schools that were promising me scholarships in year 2. And I waited around for so long that I ended up having to accept one of the ones I didn't necessarily want because the one I wanted kind of bailed out on me at the last second. And I kind of wish, and again, this is not fair to my dad, but I'm going to say it anyways. Sorry, Dad. I kind of wish he'd went, hey, son, no. This is what you're going to do, because that's where the offer is, and that's where you're going. You can go here, and you're going to go compete. And if you want to go to the next level, you're going to do it through where the offer is, because where the offer is where you need to be, right? I wish he would have done that. I know why he didn't, because my dad's also like, hey, boy, you're a man.
Yeah.
Make your decisions.
Yeah.
Live with them, right? And I love that about my dad. So it's like I'm kind of on the fence, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like it's kind of like you want that, but you also are like, man, could you at least make me right here? You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. It's not fair.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think about that a lot, and I think about that decision because I'm going to have decisions much like that one day with my own son. And then how do I, although I really love when my dad, because my dad was like, hey, boy, you're a man, be a man, right? And then live with it, right? I mean, I remember growing up, we would do stupid stuff as a kid. Stupid stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and my dad would just go, when we'd come in the side, we'd be like, man, we were just getting spotlighted from the police. He'd be like, it's okay, but if they track you back here, I'm telling them where you're at. And you're dealing with it, you know? Yeah. So it's just like, you're being boys, but you will pay the consequence if you get caught, right? And so like, that was just kind of my dad's mentality. Like that, and that taught me, like, be a man, grow up, and there's consequences when you don't. So it's hard, right? It's always easy to play Monday morning quarterback.
Oh yeah, totally.
Right? So so it's like, it's easy to go, I wish he would have did this because I saw what I didn't get out of it, but then you don't ever know what you did get out of it, right?
Yeah, totally.
Right? I mean, I wouldn't know you right now.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, it's hard for me to go back and go, you know.
I mean, you look back and you're like, from my meet my wife to my kids. I mean, everything.
I wouldn't have Josiah or Nora or Judah. I mean, so like it's kind of those things where I try not to reflect too much on the past. I'm kind of like, you take the past and you learn and you process through it and you think about how you can maybe take the good with the bad and, and is there a way I can do that I loved and also maybe help in the part I didn't a little bit. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't.
Yeah.
Sometimes they come together.
Yeah.
And you can't have one without the other.
Curious, you say that you were a loner. Did that mean that you were alone or were you spending time with your girlfriend?
No, so I spent the most amount of time with my dad and my girlfriend and practicing ball.
Okay.
And in the order of practicing, my dad, my girlfriend.
Okay.
I spent the most of my time working at sports. I mean, I did. That was my biggest girlfriend.
Yeah.
I mean, so I just did. I loved competing and I wanted to be the best.
Okay.
And so,
So,
but I did spend a lot of time with my girl. Outside of any other friends, I spent more time with my girlfriend than anybody else.
How many girlfriends did you have in high school?
I had 2. I had freshman, sophomore, junior year.
Okay.
And then I started dating one my senior year, and I dated her for. I didn't have many girlfriends in life. No. I had long girlfriends. Yeah. I started dating my senior year when I dated her for right at 4 years too. So almost 3.5, 4 years.
Yeah.
And that was my last real girlfriend. Like I had little maybe talked or dated, but I had 2 real girlfriends and then my wife.
So I'm curious because I kind of did the same thing aspect of I had a girlfriend middle school. I think it was 7th to 8th, in the 7th going to 8th or 8th grade year, most of high school. And it was could have been the high school sweetheart type situation.
Yeah.
But looking back on it, it's I know we've talked about this in other podcasts of not wanting our kids because we want to raise them to what's the why biblically do you date? You date because you're looking for marriage.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the question with you is, what did you see in these girls you were dating long term? Were you seeing them wanting for them to be?
I wasn't even thinking about that.
Or so what was because especially speaking on wanting being a loner, not obviously you're focusing your main focus is sports, so it makes sense. You're prioritizing what you want to be focused on, but then you say other than that, you're spending a lot of time with this girl. Why?
She was hot. And no, I mean, I enjoyed. We had kindred spirits in a lot of ways, right? I mean, it was. She was a friend, a best friend. I'll call her a best friend. And
did she have a lot of friends, or was she
No, she had a lot of friends. She was bubbly. Both of them were.
Yeah.
Both of them had way more friends than I did, which that wasn't hard. That wasn't hard to do.
That kind of goes to opposite attract.
Thing. Yeah. So when they weren't with me, they were with other friends. When I wasn't with them, I was practicing sports or lifting weights or with my dad.
Yeah.
Were you living biblically at this time?
Are you talking about sexually?
Well, no, I mean just in general, not all together.
Yeah. I mean, I was for the most part, yes.
Yeah. All right, high school, you're done. What college do you go to?
Went to Troy first.
Okay.
Yeah, I went to Troy for a year.
What happened?
So I got there, was 7th on the depth chart, got my way up to 2nd. JUCO transfer in front of me. I actually thought I was going to get to play my freshman year. I was pumped.
Yeah.
I remember calling my dad about 3 or 4 weeks before the season. I was like, I think I'm going to be playing by game 3 or 4. This guy, he ain't got it. He's just been here. So anyways, I'm throwing the football at the end of practice, and my arm starts hurting. And I'm like, bump this. I'm like, suck it up. And so, I mean, I'm just throwing, and the ball, I just starting to lose velocity. I'm like, no. So I'm in the trainer's room. I'm like, ice cold, ice cold, ice cold.
Yeah.
I'm rapping it all day.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's going on? Every day I just lose velocity on the ball, because we throw deep ball at the end of every practice.
Right.
So much so that my coach recognized it. It was like, and what's going on? I'm like, nothing's going on.
Yep.
I'm good. you're not good, kid. You can't throw the ball anymore. Like, you know, and
you're throwing it 15 yards, buddy.
So they ended up redshirting me, and this is the part of my personality, right? There's an amazing part of my personality and a horrible part, and this is the horrible part. I was so mad. I was like, I'm done. They're like, well, we want you to travel, go to every game. I was like, no, I ain't doing all that. You gonna redshirt me? I'm staying here and I'm working, do my own thing, right? And so that's what I did. So stupid.
Did your arm heal up?
So here's what happened. So they send me, and all these things don't register to a stupid kid as a freshman. Right. They send me to Birmingham's, a hospital in Birmingham where all the major athletes go. They send me there to get my arm looked at. They redshirted me, right? They had high hopes in me if they're doing all these things, right?
Yeah.
So my coach gets fired. And so when my coach gets fired, and I was already bitter, I was already mad, it didn't have nothing to do with them. I was just being a stupid freshman, right? Like, I never not played. I never not played.
Right.
And that was actually hurt me. I started 7 games as a freshman in high school. I had never not been on the field. And it drove me crazy watching everybody else play.
Wow.
Drove me nuts. Wow. Right? And not getting to play, not getting to compete.
What would you, if you could have?
I didn't even go to some of the games, the home games.
What would
I was so mad I wasn't playing.
What would you tell yourself? If you'd sit down with your younger self right now,
I would say, hey, boy, be patient. Patience is a virtue. Learn in this moment. Don't be hot-headed. Don't be bitter. Don't get mad. Like, and I was as mad at God. This was that season, right? This was that season where the end of my senior year going into that, this is where it begins, right? And so...
what did you feel like God owed you?
I don't know if it felt like God owed me. I just wanted me to get out of my way.
Okay.
Right? It was like, dude, like, get out of my way. I've been working my whole life for this. I've put everything I got into playing college football. Get out of my way.
That's interesting. What did you not have a theology to be like, oh, this is the devil? Like, why didn't you go there?
Oh, no, I never had that theology.
Yeah.
God's always in control.
Yeah.
I always had that
like
basis.
Even
if it's the devil, he let him. Right? Like, nah, I never went that route. Like, and so...
I know how Job
turned out, right? You did this! So that's where it kind of went down a squirrely road. And again, my agnosticism, my internal agnosticism was based off me being mad. Like all atheists are. They hate God, therefore he's not true. Right? And so that's so true. That's every atheist I ever meet.
You're like, having your King Saul moment.
Yeah. Like if I go back in every atheist's life, there was a time they got so mad at God, they erased him. Right? And so anyways, you know, I go through that and I decide I'm going to transfer. I don't know where yet, but I'm leaving Troy. My coach calls me over summer break with the new quarterback coach and is like, hey, we want you here. Like, come on back. Like, don't do this, right? So it was like another life raft, right, being thrown out there. And I was like, nah. You know, again, stupid. Like just a stupid kid.
What was your dad saying at this point?
Nothing. He let me do all this, right? Again, you let him live.
Yeah.
Consequences, all right? You got to live with them.
Wow.
So I won't say nothing, but he wasn't persuading.
Like, are you talking to your dad?
I'm not talking about it either, right? I mean, it's not like
you're asking him.
No, and he's going,
no,
it wasn't that.
Okay.
I mean, if you come to my dad, he'll tell you, right? Yeah. But I wasn't asking, right? This was my decision. I had to make it. So I ended up deciding I'm going to transfer. I think about going to one of the 1AA teams like UTC or Furman or App State or something like that because they were all hot on me not 8 months ago. Yeah. Right. So I could transfer down and play the next year. I was not going to transfer sideways because I had to sit out. It's a totally different world now, right?
Yeah, right.
Like transfer portal and all that nonsense. Yeah. Like nobody even understands what I'm about to say. You transfer sideways, you're out another year. And I was like, I am not watching from the sideline another year.
Right.
No way. So was going to go to UTC. Ended up getting a call. It was really wild. I was actually at the beach with my buddies. Got a call from my coach and was like, hey, over in Mississippi, there's a JUCO team, and they only sign 4 players. So the way JUCO works is you only get like 4 or 6 out-of-state signs.
Okay.
Everybody else has to be in-state.
Got it.
Out-of-state scholarships. And they're like, they got 1 left. Like, they need a quarterback. And I was like, JUCO ball? I was like, what is that? I was like, is this like an extension of high school? I had no idea what I was about to get into. So I'm at the beach, and I tell my buddies, I'm like, I got to go over to Mississippi. I'll be back. I got to leave tomorrow morning. I had to be there the next day.
Wow.
To try out. I get in the car, leave my buddies at the beach. We only had 1 car. Leave my buddies at the beach. I go to Jonesboro, Mississippi, and there's 3 guys out there and a coach. And I get out on the field, and I start throwing. And he's like, all right, let's throw. And we start throwing and throwing and throwing. We get done throwing, and they're like, you want to come play here? I was like, sure. Signed at Jones.
Wow.
Went back. I'm going to Jones, Mississippi next semester. So enrolled, finished out at Dalton State College the next semester just to finish up the semesters.
Okay. Yeah.
Then transferred into Jones and played a year at JUCO ball, which JUCO ball is insane.
What's special about JUCO ball?
So what's special about it's JUCO ball Mississippi. So Mississippi JUCO ball is unbelievable. Like the New England Patriots were at one of my games watching a player. Wow. He had played, started like 10 games for Oklahoma State the year before, got in trouble, went to Northeastern Mississippi, I think, ended up getting armed robbery charges, went straight to jail at the end of the season. But it was nuts. Like there was a game we played in a team called Pearl River, and on that field, 7 people ended up in the NFL.
Wow. That's nuts.
It was wild. I'm telling you, it was wild. And I'm not saying they had huge careers, but they all went to the NFL. Like there was probably 12, 13, 14 Division I SEC, ACC guys on that field. Like it was wild.
Someone that knows very little about sports. JUCO, is that the style of play?
So JUCO is like an intermediate. Okay, here. It's purgatory.
It's purgatory for
before you
players.
get to heaven, right?
It.
So heaven is college football.
Got it.
JUCO is purgatory.
Okay.
It's where you go before you go to college football.
Okay.
So it's like an extension of high school.
This was your way to not be on a bench.
Yes.
To play.
Get playing of some of the best caliber. Go get my grades where I want them to be. That's what a lot of kids do. They're going to JUCO because their grades are so bad they can't get into college. They go to JUCO, get their grades up, and then they can get into the college they want to go to. Yeah.
Awesome.
So I don't know how they get their grades up because we never went to class.
1 year?
Yeah, 1 year at JUCO. Then I transferred to Georgia Southern.
Did you have a girlfriend this whole time?
I did.
From Troy? Same girl.
Same girl from Dalton, my senior year. Yep. Again, this goes back to, she was wonderful. We were best friends. I love her family to this day.
How did that work, though, the long distance thing?
We made it work.
Yeah.
I went home. I went home and seen her a lot.
Okay.
But, again, I made decisions. Again, I wouldn't have met you. I wouldn't. So there's like, but I made decisions of why I went to Georgia Southern.
Yeah.
I went to Georgia Southern because she was going to Georgia Southern. Yeah. Right. She was wanting to go to Clemson, and we went, well, what if we go to Georgia Southern?
Yeah, got it.
And so, I never want my son to make a decision like that based on a girl that he doesn't know if he's going to be married to.
There's no ring on it.
Yeah. Don't make those decisions.
Yeah.
Young men, don't make those decisions.
Well, to your parents.
I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for that. So why am I making
your
decisions
parents literally dated in high school and got married the moment she graduated.
That's right.
Right. So it was normal for them.
Sure.
They're like, this would probably be normal.
Mm-hmm. Sure. And that's what I'm saying.
Different, though.
Like from their worldview, from their perspective, like this was okay because they got married like at 20. Like this is the high school sweethearts married.
Yep.
And people got married younger back then.
Yep.
All right. So
okay. 1 year at Mississippi Jones.
Transferring to Georgia Southern. Okay. Separate my shoulder first year. Again.
In practice or in a game?
In practice before the games ever began.
Wow.
Yep. So and that was my.
Is that the first separation of your shoulder?
No, it was my third separation.
Okay.
So that's why I was like, I was at that point, you know how you get mad at God and then you're just like indifferent to God?
Yeah.
I was indifferent. I was just like, whatever, bro. Like, what the, like, I'm never going to get to do this. Like, I'm never going to get to live out that dream. Like, you've snatched that. That's gone. And it was, you know, because when it happened at Troy, I was like, I can overcome this. I got time.
Right.
Go to JUCO, play a year. Then it happens again. It's like, I'm running out of time. And I really just got bitter and angry. And I was just like, F it. Threw my hands up. Done. End of the season, I hung up my pads.
Wow.
So,
was there anything else you could have done?
I mean, I could have rehabbed it when I talked about it, it was just coming out so easy. And I played the game so aggressively. I probably could have played it less aggressively, but I didn't know how to.
Any other positions?
No, not at that level. Okay. I mean, at that level, you go to play your position.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not going to slide. I was never going to slide. I couldn't slide. It just wasn't in me. And when you hit 245-pound college linebackers, like if your shoulders aren't in good shape, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's how I separated the other time. But it's just, you know, and I don't regret it because I played who I am today is because I played the game the way that I did. I played it recklessly with my body. Like my dad and my mom used to go, he'd throw his body around everywhere, you know. But it made me who I am, right? I mean, like I don't know how to play it any other way.
Yeah.
So I don't regret any of it. It was great. Football was a great, useful tool. The quarterback position taught me so many leadership qualities that I wouldn't have today. And then I went through that season of agnosticism for 2 years, which probably made me who I am today too. And
yeah, so circle back on that.
Yeah.
What was that journey? Because by the time I meet you, there's books all over your apartment.
Yeah.
You're going to conferences, listening to debates like crazy.
Yeah, so I picked up at Troy, a gentleman by the name of Christopher Hitchens and started reading his material. Started reading Daniel Dennett, you know, some of Richard Dawkins. I always found him annoying, though. Some Sam Harris, you know, stuff. And just some of the more prominent atheists. And then I got in the weeds a little bit with more of the more sophisticated ones rather than the ones that are out in front of us.
Right.
And started diving off the naturalist, the secular humanist route, materialism, and thinking like, I'm never giving this a fair shake. Like maybe I'm wrong, right? Maybe all this God stuff is incorrect, you know? And so just started really studying that, and just coming through that, I just got to a place where I was like, man, this is really stupid. Right? Like this actually makes no sense. Like if I wanted to harden my heart and I was angry at God, which I am angry at God, but that doesn't mean I need to erase him simply because I'm angry. Like, is it actually, does this like actually lead me to think with origin, meaning, morality, and destiny? Like, does this have any answers? And I started to realize I don't have any answers. Right? I was like, they don't have any answers for cosmic evolution. They don't have any answers for chemical evolution. They don't really have any answers for biological evolution except, you know, adaptation. And they extrapolate it into the past to say, there's micro, with time macro evolution will happen, you know? And it's like, I was like, oh, so you don't have any of the fundamental questions answered. And then you also don't speak to my heart at all. Right? Like my desire to be known, my desire to be loved, my desire to be forgiven, my desire to be like, you don't have
Where's all that come
Where's
from?
all that?
Yeah.
Right? And so I just I was like, all right, this is dumb. I'm not going to go here.
Yeah.
But I wasn't ready to go to Christianity yet either. I was like, I didn't really like that God. He let me down. So I started playing around with like, you know, Hinduism and Buddhism, and you know, I even looked at Islam for a little bit, and then Judaism, and just kind of like feeling my way through all a little bit, you know, just feeling my way through all of them, and eventually I was like, all right, I've been doing this for a year plus now. I was like, let's look at this Jesus guy one more time, right? And really looking at Jesus before I read his words again, looking at the life, death, and resurrection of Jesus and the validity of that is what rocked my world, right? When I processed that. And then I started to, and I always tell everybody, go look at all the best arguments against it, right? If you want to believe in something, if you think something's true,
right.
your last step is to go look at all the arguments against it.
Right.
And they were so weak. They were so weak. And I was like, dang. I was like, well, you also spoke about the Torah and all the other books back there, so I guess they're true too. Right? And so, and so that set me on the journey of going, okay, all right, you're real. I'm not happy with you right now still, but you're real. And just going down that, all right, what does it really mean to have a good theology, a good understanding, a good epistemology of who God is and why am I here and what is he up to and what is my part to play inside of his kingdom. And then I grew in that knowledge, which helped me understand all the things I had been through.
Got it.
Right? And so that is when I start going, oh, that's who you are.
Yeah.
And again, starting to relate back, and this is where I would say having a dad that did it right, I was able to start connecting and rekindling my relationship with God because of my relationship with my dad. And I was like, all right, you were fathering me. The same way my dad spanked me, I was being spanked in football because I needed to be humbled. Yeah. And you were taking something from me that I love to draw me closer to you. Right? The one thing that was an idol in my life, you were like, I can't give you that.
Yeah.
You know, I can't give you that. And I often look at it, and by the means, I'm not comparing myself to Tom Brady, but I look at that and go, what if you would have given it to me? Where would I have ended up? Right? And so, like, him stripping me of that and taking that from me is like, thank you. I needed that. As hard as it was in the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. It's, I think, so true for so many that come to faith in Christ, just realizing how the bigger story answers every question of the human heart, that there are answers, and even to the things that there aren't answers, there is a future hope of
absolutely
of answers. All right, so you're at Georgia Southern. What got you plugged into Connection Church? How'd you get plugged in there?
Man, I'm going to be honest. I can't remember. I don't know if I wandered in or if I met Matt and he brought me in. I want to say me and Matt played together, but I think I met him at Connection.
Because
I think I just wandered in.
He's defense, right?
Yeah. He was on the defensive side of the ball.
So you're not.
It's
a big football team.
No. So I think I wandered in, right? I mean, I wandered in just like you and Billy and he did, and we just kind of all ended up in that same rugged group of rugged Bible study guys that got together. And
the Bible study at Matt's place when I showed up, was that the first one?
That was it, man.
That was the very first one.
Yeah, we were there before you for a little bit. That's all it was, but it was the first one.
What do you mean by that?
You
were there.
Well, I knew Billy and Matt a little bit through Connection before that, and then that Bible study is where we get started putting it together.
Okay, but y'all had hung out prior to that. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, you were last. I like to.
That's
make
okay.
Sure you know that. The first will be last. Right?
Okay, so we meet.
You weren't last by much, by like a month.
Yeah. Connection. You're still dating your girlfriend at the time. What happens there?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be not because I wouldn't talk about it, but for her.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be gentle there.
Yeah.
We end up breaking up through a series of events where I just think that we realize we wanted different things. That's probably the best way to put it, right? We were heading in different directions and we wanted different things. And that's the easiest way to put it if I just want to lay it right there. And again, I would open up, but I don't want to.
Yeah.
Someone else is involved at that level.
At any time, so going back, you decided to go to Georgia Southern because of her. Were you guys ever at any point like talking about forever?
I had a ring. Okay. So definitely. Like I thought. I mean, I did. I thought I would marry her. We didn't. Right. So until you, again, new a word. Until you get married, you're not married. Right. Like just keep that in mind. Making decisions until you get married, you're not married.
this is a little fuzzy for me. Were y'all off and on a little bit when you were down at Georgia Southern?
Just right there towards the end.
Because like 99% of the time I ever saw you, it was just you. Maybe Sean, your roommate.
Yeah. We didn't.
But I never saw.
We hung out in different crowds.
Yeah.
Again, like we didn't hang out in the same crowds. We hung out together. But we didn't hang out in the same.
I hung out around you a lot.
Well,
so I was like,
and that's where that's what I'm saying. That's where the
but
distancing began, right?
Yeah.
You know, she was in a sorority.
Yeah.
I hated sororities and fraternities. You know, but you know, she was more bubbly, and that's her personality, and outgoing and all that. And I was not, right? I was not. I was, you know.
So, but you graduate, and then you go straight into modeling.
So I graduate, I go home, and I start to work at my dad's company for 6 months.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so when I went to my dad's company, I was like, my dad was only part owner in it.
Okay.
And I was like, Dad, I want to come work here, but I want to be my own person here, right? Like, I don't want to be David's son.
Yeah.
Right? And somebody was like, I get that. Right? So him and Dustin were in manufacturing.
Yep.
He put me in sales underneath Reed, the other owner. And my dad's goal was to train up Dustin and Reed train up me. And, you know, I run sales one day and Dustin runs manufacturing. And through a course of events, like, I was coaching middle school football with a guy. And the guy that was under him had the Home Depot account. I won't go into too much detail. I don't get nobody in trouble. But had an account that I won, and then all of a sudden there was somebody else that had that account. They ain't had it in 10 years. And I went back and asked the guy. I was like, well, they said they have it. And he's like, I ain't working with them. Like, he's like, I work with you. And, and I went back and said it. And I was like, well, I guess it's mine. And somebody came in my office and was like, well, you're not going to be able to do the account. And again, I was still young and hot-headed at this point. And I was like, no, I'm going to. And they were like, no, you can't. Somebody. I was like, no, I'm going to. I'm like, I am. Like, I've already talked to them.
Yeah.
Like, at this point, I realize you're trying to treat me this way because I'm my dad's son, right? And I'm mad.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm like, leave me alone. Let me go earn my own way. I don't, just because I have my dad that's got money, it doesn't mean I want to earn my way.
Yeah.
And they try to go, well, you're not going to be. I said, I am. And you can get out of my office or I'm going to kick your. That didn't go over well.
Can't imagine why.
So that my dad calls me down. He's like, Caleb. I'm like, look. And so at that point, I'm like, all right, I'm not doing this. Right? I was like, and I hadn't quit. I wasn't done doing it, but another opportunity presented itself, and I took it. So me and my mom, I was just over the breakup. We're going through Atlanta. A sign for actors, models, and talent for Christ is up on a board. And she's like, you need to go to that. Look, it's right now. And I was like, I'm not going to that. She's like, yeah, you are. Let's go. So she takes me to the DoubleTree. I'll never forget it. I walk in. It's like 4:50. It's over at 5. There's nobody in there. It's dead. It was over. And I like peek my head and I'm like, hey.
Yeah.
I'm like, can I audition? And they're like, yeah, sure. And I walk in there and I do a model walk, which, what was that? I'm an athlete. I don't know what this is, right? Here's a cold read. I'm like, what does that mean? You know? Yeah. So it's like, I don't even know the language in this world, right? I didn't go to drama. Yeah. I don't know what I'm talking about, right? So I do a cold read, I do a scene read, a film read, and I do a model walk. And so they're like, okay, we'll get back to you. So they call me, and they're like, hey, we want to invite you to the Gaylord Motel in Orlando. I think it was Orlando, Florida. And there's a big event we throw every year. We want to invite you. You're in. And I was like, okay. So all these agents come to it. You do all this stuff. And
how old are you at this point?
I am 21.
Okay.
21.
Okay.
I think 21. So I go do that. I leave. I got first place in one, and then I got like third or fourth in another. And I get a bunch of calls from agents. I sign in Atlanta with a company called Chosen Model Management. It was a really great, these things change so fast. It was a great one back then. And start getting some jobs underneath, have to lose like 30 pounds.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, like New York.
What were you weighing?
I was still football weight, so I was 205.
Okay.
I didn't have to lose 30 pounds. I had to 20 pounds. I had to get to 180, right? Wow. 180 to 183 to get to New York. If I was going to go to New York, I had to trim out, right? So I get there. I sign with an agency in New York. I go up there, do some good little gigs. Go to Miami one year because the way the season works is you go to New York in the summer, Miami in the winters.
Yeah.
I stayed one winter in New York. I said, nope, never again.
Idea.
That's it. I'll never do this again. I was like, done.
Yep.
So end up going back, and I ended up, just, Europe likes to develop young models, I guess. And I signed with the biggest modeling agency in Italy. It was called I Love Model Management at the time. They had some huge models on their board. And so I was like, let's go.
Like plus size models.
Yeah, huge plus size models. So I got down my weight down to like 182.
Wow.
182 to 183. And flew into Milan.
First time overseas at this point? Wow.
Ever. It never registered to me that when I land, nothing will be in English. But it did when I landed, and my SIM card didn't work. This is back in the day where like you had to have, my SIM card doesn't work. It's 8:00 at night. Nobody's talking English.
Yeah.
I don't know where the heck I am. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
So like I'm trying to navigate my way to Milano from the airport. It's like hour and a half, hour 45 north.
Yeah.
Takes me 8 hours to get to my room. I don't get to my room till like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning in the middle of Italy. Like, I don't know where I'm at, right? Like, and so it was just like, man, this is rough, And so
you walking the whole time?
I'm taking a train. Everything. Like, we didn't get in a cab because I didn't know what to tell them.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like got a map. I'm like sitting here trying to map it, right? So it took me 8 hours to get to my place. So I finally get there, get checked in.
You're young. It's
I'm
adventurous.
young. Yeah. So toting luggage,
Yep.
So I get there, I get in my model apartment, which is, my gosh, help me. Like
Zoolander.
Dude, it's terrible.
That's what I'm picturing right now.
It's terrible. It's terrible. I'm probably 23 at this time, 23, 24. But
did you have roommates?
Bro, all model apartments have roommates. And I'm going to tell you, when you're in a room with a bunch of 18, 19-year-old boys, and I was, like I said, I grew up with my dad's friends. I had the older soul. I remember one night, kid you not, I'm in Italy, so I got to be careful, right? I still got a hot temper. But I'd get up every morning and I'd do my Bible study in the kitchen, right, at like 6 a.m. Well, them jokers would be coming in at 6 a.m., right, at 5 a.m. and eating something and then going to bed because they've been partying all night.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So I'd get up at 6 and I'd walk in and there'd just be pasta sauce everywhere, just pans and bowls and noodles and pasta everywhere. And I cleaned it up twice because it was just so, I couldn't even make coffee. It was so nasty. And so one morning I cleaned it up, and I guess they got in a little bit earlier, like 3, because I was in the kitchen at like 10, 11, reading again. Because in the modeling world, you don't work but like 6, 7 days a month, right? It ain't like you're swamped all the time. And 2 of them walk in, and I go, "Hey guys," and they spoke English, not great English. I was like, "Hey guys, could y'all, when you cook, it's fine, just clean up." I was like, the common space is the common space. It's like, I don't care what you do in your bed. I was like, but this area, we all have to live in it together. The bathroom, we all have to live in it together. I was like, just clean it up. I was very calm, nice about it. The very next morning, it's the same. I was like, okay. So I didn't clean it up. And when they went out that night, it was still there. And so I took it and put it in their bed. All of it. Put it in their bed. Pasta sauce, pans, the whole show.
I love it.
Well, they came in hot, right? They came in hot. And I told them, what do you want to do? I was like, whatever. I was backed up against the wall. I said, let's go. They were scrawny. I was like, they wouldn't have lasted 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And so they didn't have to put pans there anymore, right? But I was like, after the fact, I was like, man, I don't need to go to jail in Italy. Like, I don't know how I'd get home from here. But it was wild. It was adventurous. It was, I spent
How
time.
long were you in Italy?
So I was in Italy the first time about 6 to 8 months, but I also went to Hamburg, Germany and spent some time in London as well.
Okay.
So
What kind of modeling gigs?
All suits. So I was actually in Italy for 2 months and I did nothing and I was ready to quit. I was like, this is stupid. Like, I'm just sitting here doing nothing. Because again, I work. Like, I'm a worker. Like, that's and I was bored out of my mind. You can only see things and visit and do sightseeing for so much. I'm a worker. I don't know what it's like to just vacation for 2 months. So I was going bananas.
Yeah. And
I ended up booking a job for a suit company called Cannoli, and I didn't know what that was. I was like, oh, okay, whatever. Yeah. Well, it's a huge brand over there. I got their campaign and then just another suit brand. It just started rolling in. So that kind of launched me in the modeling world to have a pretty decent career. If that wouldn't have happened, I would have never had a career, right? I mean, probably. So it's all momentum.
So you're there for 8 months?
Yeah, 6 to 8 months. Come back home. Again, made a really dumb decision, but I had a job for $6,000 one day in I think it was for Spanx for Men. I know, it's great, right? I think that this was the one. It was like $6,000 to $8,000, and when you're like young and like I made decent money in Milan, but Europe is about getting tear sheets. It's about getting images and building your prestige. It's not about money, right? And so I needed money. And so $8,000 job, well, I had a 4-day booking with Armani for showroom where you just go do clothes and stuff.
Okay.
And I didn't know. I just saw $8,000. So I flew back early. And my agent went crazy on me. They're like, do you not know that Armani is at all the showroom stuff? And like just going bananas. And I was like, no, I didn't know. I don't know anything in this industry. Like, I'm just doing what y'all tell me to do.
Yeah.
So like that was a whole kind of upheaval. But went back to New York, then did the whole New York, Miami, went back to Milan for another
Which,
stint.
by the way, just a little commentary. When you decided to go into modeling, it became 4 to 5 years worth of ammunition for Matt, Billy, and I just
the best
to roast
memes
you.
ever.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and I loved it. I mean, I deserved every bit of it because I was everything but a model in modeling.
Yeah,
you know. So again, did all that. Lived around the country, Chicago. Finished up in L.A. and ended up quitting when I met my wife, and we got married out of L.A. So hung it up.
Go back. So first question, I'm just curious about knowing David and Gigi. What did they think of that?
Oh, they thought it was stupid from the first day. Or David did.
I was going to say, you can't.
He could probably tell you more about what my dad thought about it than I did.
Oh, yeah.
I can imagine what he called what is Caleb doing?
Oh, yeah.
What is he doing? Yeah. You know, like, he's like taking pictures for a living.
And then I guess curious, just kind of a little bit of flash forward, but like, you know, you've done it. You've done the industry, done all the things. We've heard all types of stories around the campfire. Josiah wants to be a model as he gets older. Do you let him?
No.
Why?
God, so I'm going to go back to this. God had uniquely developed me for the modeling world. And what I'm going to say is, by being a quarterback and by having that fame, and knowing that it was not valuable at all, right? And going through that process of having that thing ripped from me and finding where value was prepared me to walk into that industry. If I had not have had that, I would have got consumed by that industry. I mean, it would have destroyed me.
Yeah, because you are the product.
That's right. You're the product.
Yeah.
And it would have eaten me alive and spit me out. I mean, I can just think of moments, like a few moments that like I would have never responded the way that I did if I wouldn't have went through that. And those moments would have been pinnacle. They're huge. I mean, I don't know how much I want to tell. Huh?
Yeah. I was going to say, press into that a little bit because one thing.
So I'll give you one. Yeah. I'll just give you one moment. When I'm in Europe and I didn't like to party. Like I didn't like to go to, and that was probably another major downfall is like, you know, when you're in an industry, you got to play the game.
Yeah.
I hated the game.
Mm-hmm.
I hated the game. Right.
Wine and dine.
Going in a room with loud music and like, what'd you say? And I didn't care anyways. That was stupid. Right. Like, so it wasn't, it was nothing meaningful. It was just the game. Right. And, I went one night because it was right after I'd started getting the Canali job and Twombolini and some other big suit brands. And I went to a party because they told me, like, hey, you need to go to this party. There's going to be a lot of people there. Like, it matters. You need to go. And so me and 2 guys and 3 girls, we go to it. We walk in, and when you walk into this party, it's an exclusive party. It is like almost black, strobe lights, like it is wild, right? I mean, and there's drugs everywhere. The women have almost no clothes on. I mean, you might as well have not, right? Mm. And I'm just going, oh my gosh, like, I don't need to be here. Mm. Right? Like, this could rip my soul apart. And I remember being in that moment and thinking, I got a choice to make. I can stay here, and there ain't no telling what happens next.
Mm. And how old are you?
Or I can leave. I'm about 20, I guess 25-ish, 26-ish.
That says a lot for your character.
Well, it says a lot for what God had taken me through.
Yeah.
Right? And so, and then this girl comes up to me, beautiful girl, almost no clothes on, and was like, do you want to dance? And I was like, yes, but I got to leave. I was like, I'm out of here. Yeah. Right? And I turned around and I left because I was like, if I stay here, I'm going home with you. Yeah. And I got to leave. Right. And again, I think that was another thing that God had brought me to, was the recognition of my sin. Like, I knew what a sinner I could be at that point in my life. I was like, I can be a heck of a sinner. Right. And if I put myself in those situations, like, it will not be hard for me to dive all into it. Yeah. So I wasn't under delusion. I can hang out here and still not sin. I can hang out and be a part of this, and it's going to be okay. Right. Naked girls hanging on me, I'll say, no, I'm not looking down. I'm just looking at their face. Right? Like,
Right. Yeah, because one thing you talk a lot about during that season is how God gave you a grace.
Oh, man.
That didn't stay with you the entire time. Or it was for that season.
Yeah, it was for that season. I mean, I think me and you have talked about this. Like, I'll say this. Like, I remember when I first got married, there was something that came over me that was like trying to, just almost demonic, that was like trying to bring me into this place of lust. And I was like, what is this? I was like, I've been in an industry where I could have had sex 5 times a week.
Right.
Easy.
Right.
Like, it wouldn't even been hard.
Right.
And like, this did not come over me in that season.
Yeah.
In that life. And I was like, what is this attacking me in my marriage right now? Right. And so, that's why I say God gave me just a special grace in that season. And I think too, again, you can look back at all the things that God was doing, and me hanging out with my dad, me getting, recognizing that life is not in the position that you have, or in fame or praise, having that pulled from me. Like, all of that added up into me not getting in trouble in the modeling and acting world, right?
Yeah.
I did, like, it all played a part in
You said modeling and acting. Did you do some acting?
I did some acting towards the end. Okay. I was actually, that's when I quit, because I wanted to transfer from the modeling space into the acting space. And that's when I realized, I was like, okay, I won't go through it all, but there was a lot of things that happened where I would get like to the peak of something amazing, and then it would be something completely compromising that would come my way. And I'd go, I can't do that.
Right.
And then, agents don't understand that. They're like, boy, what are you doing? This is costing us money.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not going to do this stuff, like, why are you here?
Yeah.
Right. And so there it goes. And then you work your way back up, and then there it goes. You work your way back up, and it was constant. Right.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of get put in this bottom tier. It's like, all right, he's not going to do any of the things that you need him to do to actually go to that top tier, or even begin to try.
Example of compromising. Like, what are those? Like gay shoots or?
Why'd you go straight to gay shoots?
I wouldn't say gay shoots.
I was gonna say make a note spandex.
So some of the things. Here's what I'll say. Some of the compromises are subtle, some are not.
Okay.
I will say this: Harvey Weinstein, Puff Daddy, all of that stuff was not shocking to me. Like I was like, yeah, that's what goes on. I was like, everybody that's in the industry knows that. Like that's the regular. Casting agent basically asking, like, hinting around to sex with her.
Okay.
You want the role?
Got it.
That happens.
Got it. You're
like
not
Harvey
talking
Weinstein,
pedophilia. You didn't know about pedophilia.
No, I didn't know about that.
Okay.
No. But I mean, like, that happens. Like,
extortion.
Like coffee table books. Like, are you willing to go shoot nude with, 3 girls and it be shadowed out? Fire Island, right? Man, I'll even say this one because I don't care. There was an agency in New York City that took their boys to Fire Island. I was going to sign with them.
What is Fire Island?
Okay. Well, I was going to sign with them, talk about signing with them, and another agent in the industry, I called him, and he's like, don't run. Don't do it. So they would take their boys to Fire Island, and they would play football in their underwear, and all their gay buddies would go and watch it.
Mm-hmm. That's just
like, and you need to go play in your underwear.
So
if you want jobs, you're going to go play in your
Fire
underwear.
Island?
Well, I quit after 30 times. I was like, it's enough. I'm not getting in my underwear another 31. I will not do it. But again, that agent knew that I wouldn't do these things. He's like, you're wasting your time.
Yeah.
Like, if you sign with that agency, you won't book a job.
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to book you if you're not going to play their game.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, well.
Quite literally, their game.
Their game.
Gay football.
A funny side story is I never got to the level that you were. But I went down that route of modeling, and all the ones that I was going into, I was doing it by myself. I didn't have anybody doing it, and to me it always felt like, is this real modeling, or is it? Because it was kind of like what you said. You start with, it's like you're going to these things that are like kind of teaching you, giving you little insights, and sending you off to somewhere to go next. And to me, my radar was going off of like, this is a scam. I guess I've always kind of had that, but I did get involved with a few different things leading into it, and where I veered away very quickly was the ones that I was going towards were all the ones that were, you need to be okay with homosexuality. You need to be okay with, like, you're going to do shoots where you can be straight, and they even say you can be straight, you can not kiss, not touch or anything, but they're going to be touching you. They're going to be on you. So you're just going to be the male model that's like this with all these guys laying on you. You got to be okay with that. And I was like, no, I'm not.
Philip,
okay
that's
with
called
that.
gay porn.
and then leading into groups that did the coffee table.
What a way to find out.
Yeah.
Philip's like, wait, what?
No, and then the other one was a group
Friends episode. Yeah, he goes up, he swaps it over, and then he goes down.
No, that's not okay.
That's not okay. No. Another one that was doing. They did. They did a coffee table book, and it was one that was. They had just finished their female version, and they were doing their male version, but it was all nude. Solo, like individual, but it was like the person doing all the photography was completely homosexual, and the photos you had the one photo that was going to be in the coffee book, but we were going to be taking 1,000 other photos, and it was like, well, what are the other photos for? So one of my biggest
coming back out of Europe, a big break that I was going to have, again, I'm a still newbie to this, was a coffee table book, and it was going to go to only, like, there was only going to be a certain amount printed, and it was going to go out to only, it wasn't even going to go to the public, it was going to go to all the designers, right? So Ralph Lauren and Armani and all these people were going to have, so my face was going to be in front of everybody. I was like, this sounds great. And then when I realized what it was, I was like, this is terrible.
Yeah.
So, but again, when you say no to that,
there goes your career.
Like, you say no to that, and they're like, dude, what are you doing? Like, that's what you've been working for. Like, if you're not going to do that, you're never going to be up there at the top. And I was like, well, and that's when I figured it out. I was like, all right.
And not to go on a side tangent, but like, we're seeing all these Netflix documentaries that are coming out of all these different agencies, Abercrombie and Fitch, and all the American Apparel, and all the different groups, and that it's just now coming out that's what it was. And
Grooming.
people, it was grooming, but it was like people like me, people like Caleb that were in that industry wanting to do it because you know, you're just having fun and enjoying it, but you don't want to be a part of that side. You just get caught into it. And a lot of people just,
well, I tell people
this is what you do.
If you go back to the 80s and the 90s and you look at the male models, they were masculine.
mm-hmm.
They were bearded, masculine, strong. And then all of a sudden a shift takes place.
Yeah.
And you got these 18-year-old misogynist boys in $20,000 suits.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, what? They don't wear those kind of suits. What? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
they can be manipulated. They can have things dangled over you. Because you go to a man in the 80s and 90s and you do something like that, he knocks your teeth out.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you got to change the people that we can start to dangle it. And I'm not picking on everybody in the industry, right?
No.
There are some gay men in the industry that I highly respect. I think they get mixed into a bag of a lot of people that are doing like one of my favorite agents was a black gay man in Miami. And I would literally call him for advice when I was navigating the industry. And he would tell me what to stay away from and what, very much what gay men to stay away from.
Mm-hmm.
Like he told me these things, right? He didn't book me on a job one time. I'll never forget that. I was so mad because I was like one of the top guys on the board at the time. I was doing really well at this point in my life. And I didn't get booked on this job, and it's a big job. And I was like, what is this? Right? I was kind of disappointed. And he was like, the photographer is Bruce Weber.
Oh.
Abercrombie and Finch. She was like, I would not put you on a job with him if you were the last model on earth, you know? And by the way, one of my good friends, I don't know if it was that one. I think it was, but he did get fondled. And I saw the effects because when he came back, he was not the same person.
Yeah.
Now, to what degree, I don't know, but it's one of those things where they're mass manipulators, man.
Mm-hmm.
They're mass manipulators.
Oh, yeah.
And they know how to do it.
Yep.
And they know how to make you feel like if you don't do it, your life's over. But if you will do this, I can take you to the stars.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Right? And so it's
I
sick.
I don't have a lot
got
of,
some sick
I don't have a lot
stuff.
of positive things to say about like my experience, but
yeah,
I
met some great people.
I got caught into a few
yeah.
of those where it's like things that I wish I never did.
Yeah, I met some great people, made some great relationships by far. God actually sent me a guy named Jacob Burton. I'm going to say God sent him to me. He was a Tennessee country boy, too. Me and him kind of did it together. Everywhere I went, he went. We'd be like, "Are you going to Miami now?" "All right, I'm going to Miami now." Like we'd try to, to do our best to go to the places when he was going to be there, I was going to be there. And we just kind of did life together for a little bit.
So I know because we stayed in contact this whole time via Skype, phone calls, whatever, football games for New Year's Eve or something. You kept up a pretty stout apologetic during this time. You had Bible studies that you were doing in the modeling industry.
Yeah, that's the one thing I miss, man. The one thing I miss, and I miss it to this day, was I love, to some degree, being in dark places. And what I mean by that is I love being challenged every day in my faith. I love having the opportunity to meet a Buddhist, meet a Hindu, meet a Muslim. Like I remember walking by in New York City, there was always this one coffee shop where these Muslim men would meet. And I would always walk by, and I was catching on to what they were saying. And one day I just stopped and just started talking with them. Like, what do y'all believe? What are y'all doing here? Like, so I love that. That's the one thing I love about cities. I hate cities, but I love that about cities, right? I think back to Paul, right, when he's in Greece or when he's in Rome, or the joy of that, of being able to go in and just insert myself into a conflictual conversation around worldviews. Yeah, that might be my favorite thing to do on earth at this point. I love it. Yeah. And so when I find myself in the Bible Belt, it means different conversations. Here you're trying to convince people they're not a Christian, or areas that they think they're a Christian, or ways they're not living for the Lord. Right. But I love doing that. Like I love it. Like I love talking apologetics and talking Bible, and I love that in the industry. And like I said, you're only working, if you're working a lot, you're working 7, 8, 9 days. So you got 20 days off. Yeah. Right? Because you're making a lot of money in those days. And so the other days I just wandered and looked for opportunities to talk and to do apologetics. And that's why I tell people, that's why I'm a good conversationalist, because I sucked at it at one point. And you just have to have them. And you have to work through them. And when you get burnt, you got to go look it up. And you got to figure out where you got burnt. And you got to have it in your arsenal the next time, right? And I did that for 8-9 years. And that's why I don't regret the modeling industry. That really refined my apologetics, because I was having conversations 8, 9, 10 times a month.
That's cool.
With different people from different walks of life and different faiths. And I had to keep sharpening, because it was something new all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And that was fun, man. That was the most fun thing about modeling and acting. The most. I have some great stories, some stories where you just get in the hot seat. And God navigated and helped me through them. Like, we had one, I was on a photo shoot. I'll never forget this one. This one's just so vivid. And in the world, in like anything that you do, is very small. There's a lot of models and a lot of actors. And I was in the group of models, but I was in that secondary group of actors. But there's only a little bit that actually work and make a living. Right. And so when you start getting in the circuit, you're like, there are not many people that actually do this for a living. So you get to know all these people, right? The makeup artist and the same thing for them, right? The good ones. I'm at a photo shoot, and we're at lunch, and one of the models there knows me, and we've already had conversations, and he's like, and I hear what they're talking about on the other end of the table, right? And there's probably 11 people at the table, and some of the producers and that kind of stuff. And one of them goes, and they're talking about Christianity gets brought up. I don't remember how, but I heard it. And all of a sudden I hear him go, well, Caleb's a Christian. And I was like, oh no. Because I didn't do it on set, because I never wanted to cause an argument on set, right? And I wouldn't argue, but most of the time, I mean, Jesus says, I didn't come to bring peace. I brought a sword, right? And if you drop a sword right in the middle of a set, guess what? There's somebody there that's going to fight you. So I was like, oh, no, not right now. No, don't do this. Not right now. And he's like, yeah, Caleb, you're a Christian, right? And I was like, yeah, I am. He's like, so you believe that if I'm gay, I'm going to hell. And I was like, yeah. Oh, I don't really have a lot of time to develop this out, but here we go, right? And I had just, and this is how God's so good, right?
You didn't have apologetics like Wes Huff.
6 months before that, I had been really thinking about this, and I had been listening to Tim Keller, who did a phenomenal job in this area. And I remember Tim Keller saying something, and I told him, I said, no, I don't believe you're going to hell for being gay. And he was like, what? Yeah, you do. You've told me that before. I said, that's not what I said to you. I said, make sure you say what I said if you're going to repeat me. He's like, what did you say? And I said, you're not going for hell. You're not going to hell for being gay any more than I'm going to heaven for being straight. I said, you're going to hell because you believe in your own self-righteousness. And I don't. You believe that you know sexuality better than God does, and I don't. I said, that's why you're going to hell. And I left it there, and the whole table stayed quiet. Right? No one wanted to fight that one.
Stare at my soup.
Well, what was interesting, though, was after the photo shoot, guess what? One of the makeup artists really heard it.
Oh, yeah.
And I got to talk to her for like 30, 45 minutes, share the gospel, and talk to her, and it was awesome.
That's awesome.
Right? And so, like, those are the moments, man, that God, I miss those moments like crazy. Yeah. Like, those I loved.
To
now I have to hang around with Daniel on the podcast all day.
To your point, if all you do is spend time in church and studying the Word of God, but you never share the gospel, one, what are you doing? But two, it's kind of like training to play football and you never play a game.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's just like the fun of the training is to play the game, to go win souls, right? And so like, I just remember like there were a number of moments where like I would call you up and I'd be like, dude, what the heck are you thinking with this shoot, man? Like I'm seeing like way too much and I'm just calling just to harp on you and you're like, hello. Nice to hear your voice too.
I loved your last meme. It was wonderful.
But you were really you were wrestling in an arena that very few people are in that claim Christ. And you're doing so like anyone in a war or a battle. The victory's won, but there's battles.
Yeah, there's scars.
Yeah, there's scars, no right? Ebbs and flows. It's kind of funny off your question about modeling, advice. I don't even know if there's going to be a modeling industry with AI.
Yeah, no doubt.
I mean,
why would you?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Right? But what counsel would you have for someone that maybe it's in the film industry or an industry that just seems replete with secular humanism reigning, and you're a Christian in there?
Yeah, so one of the hardest things for me was about halfway through it, I realized, okay, this is ministry. I can't win. Right? And that was tough for me to be able to, because I'm high.
Can't win at the modeling.
That's right, at the modeling industry, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is my ministry, right? Yeah. God has provided me a way. I'm not gonna make a ton of money because I'm not gonna take the jobs that might elevate me, but God is funding me to do ministry. And I got to that place. And I had a friend one time, he goes, well, it's like kind of like a missionary, right? And I'm like, no, it's not like a missionary. He said, why? I said, well, when you're a missionary and you go somewhere, the church is still sending you funds. I said, I'm being paid by the people I'm ministering to.
Yeah.
I said, very different. Yeah. When they decide to cut my check, I don't have no check when they don't cut it no more, right?
Yeah.
So I learned a lot about, I think, being as innocent as a dove and as wise as a serpent.
Yeah.
How do you navigate waters? When is the appropriate time? How to rely on the Holy Spirit, right? I think that is really when I realized that there's ways to probe a person to see if the Holy Spirit is active and working in that conversation. And if he's not, don't cast your pearls before swines.
Can you give any tidbits or anything come to mind?
Yeah. So one thing I became really good at was listening.
Okay.
Right. Everybody's always talking about themselves. Everybody's always talking about something, right? And so I might be on a set and I hear a makeup artist talking to another model.
Yeah.
Right? And they're talking about something in life. Maybe it's their dad or it's something that's going on or it's something they believe in. Everything's appropriate to talk about except Christianity on set, right? You just can't talk about Christianity, right? Yeah. All the other stuff you believe in, you can talk about, right? Yep. And you might even talk about Christianity. You just can't talk about it in such
as if he's
the
Lord.
Way, like it's real, like it's just like an idea, right? But I would listen and I'd go, okay, this could be a conversation, right? And when I felt like it could be a conversation, I could tie the gospel into. Then from there, I would start to ask my own questions. And I just see is this person softened? And there's no real blueprint to that. You have to do it enough to be able to navigate it and wing it. And again, it has to come natural at some point. Yeah. Right. And so as I was asking the questions, if they went past tier 1, I'd go to tier 2 and tier 2 to 3. And eventually, if we got to that place where I felt like I could confront them in their sin, I would do it. And I was like, all right, I feel like the Holy Spirit might be here. And then I'd do that.
What does that look like? Just real quick.
And confronting them in their sin?
Yeah.
So let's say one of them's living, they're nagging about their boyfriend or their girlfriend, right? Yep. And I find out they're living with them, right? In that conversation. It's like, oh yeah, okay. I was like, well, what's going on with y'all? Yeah. Like, what's the problem? And, I just heard you over talking. And they're like, yeah, like, she's this or he's this or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, man, so what are you going to do about it? Like, what's y'all steps? And you're interested. Like, how do they really think about this, right? You have to be really interested. Totally. You can't just be there to say, hey, this is Jesus, right? Yeah, totally. You have to be interested in somebody. And I learned curiosity is important.
Well, is that no one cares what until they know that
until they know you care. Yeah. And I think far too many of us are not curious anymore. Yeah. I tell boys all the time at my work, I'm like, be curious. Be curious about life. Yes. Be curious about others. Amen. Be curious about your own beliefs. Amen. Like, be curious. Yes. And by being a curious person, you'll be an effective person. Amen. And you'll grow in wisdom. And so as I was curious, really, I think a lot of these people were like, no one has asked these kind of poignant questions to me. Like, no one's cared enough to, like, you're really trying to get somewhere.
Yeah.
And I actually was, right? And so eventually I'd just be like, have you ever wondered, like, what might, like, could part of this be that you're just, you know, trying to have all the fun but not enter into the commitment?
Yeah, right.
Right? And so here we go.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, you'll start, and depending upon, oh, no, you gotta test drive it before you buy the car. And I'm like, but that don't seem to be working. Yeah. I'm like, what do you mean you gotta test drive it? Right? And so you start, you press into those whys, and eventually they come to the real, they're like, well, maybe not. Maybe I'm doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you know what else says you're doing it wrong?
Yeah.
Well, you know, there's something called the Bible.
Yeah.
And then when I say that, I get to see what their feeling is towards that, right?
Yeah.
And
well.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
So where does the conversation, well, the Bible, that's an old ancient book. Oh, is it an old ancient book?
Right.
Do you know how we can discern that the Bible's validity is correct? Do you know it's the most actually accurate book from all of ancient antiquity? You want to like, no, I didn't know that. Oh, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
So you don't know where the apologetic is going to go.
Totally.
I don't have a pre-program that I'm like, it's going to go here. I let them to determine where it's going to go, and I make sure that I have the information to go there wherever they want to go.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's just how I would kind of navigate those things.
To young men or women that are entering into their careers, and like you had.
I totally rejected your question that you actually asked, which was, what is some information you would give to somebody in the film industry?
Yeah, I'm actually kind of piggybacking on that with this one, which is what because you had shoot days, and then you also had
down days,
yeah. Right? I know you were using that time, right?
Yeah.
So what encouragement do you recommend, both to the previous question and then also to those who aren't married, they have the time, right? What are you doing with that time?
You mean in the industry, or you just mean?
What encouragement would you, what counsel would you give?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Number one would be, I think why I navigated away was this. I truly believe when you enter into a hostile environment, you have to be content with ministry being what you're there for. I'm not saying you can't be successful, but name me an actor that is.
Yeah.
Name me a model that I don't know one. Like, I'm not saying in the secular world, I know there's some like a Chris Pratt.
Right.
But if you look at his career, there's a lot of sus stuff in there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm not saying that Chris Pratt's not a Christian. I'm not saying that he doesn't love Jesus. But you can tell there was a lot of moments where he did things that I bet you right now he himself wishes he didn't. If he's really living a life of repentance and he's truly living a life of dying to self, I promise you he looks back at some of those things and goes, I should have done that.
Yeah.
Right? So all I'm going to say is, like, you have to be committed if you're going to go into that field. And I'm sure there's other fields like this too, but that I'm here for ministry.
Yeah.
Because I tell everybody, like, you're going to be fighting for the bottom tier jobs unless you just get highly lucky. So if you want to go do that, okay. If you want to roll the dice, right? You can go to Vegas too. Probably got better odds. Right. So you might get, there's Christian industry out there. I'm like, yeah, there is, but it's small.
Yeah.
I'm like, and I'm not saying you can't do it, but it's small, So you're going to be fighting for the bottom. It might work out. But more than likely, you're going to be pulled in a direction that you're going to have to say no to, or you're just going to decide to compromise. Mm-hmm. Right? Because when we walk into let's call it an organism, right? When you walk into an organism, a culture, there's a set of values inside of that culture. Mm-hmm. And when you walk into their world, you got to accept their values, right? And if you don't, then you're not invited, right? And so if you're walking in, you bring your own values, you're in ministry at that point.
Yeah.
Right? But if you want to work, you're going to accept their values.
Yeah.
And that's what you're going to do. Right? And so that's just how it goes. Right? Whether you like it or not, it doesn't matter. Now, you can try to be silent as long as you can, but there was this little verse that always went through my head: deny me before men and I'll deny you before the Father. Yeah. So I felt like that wasn't an option. Right? Yeah. I was like, I don't know if I want to go that way. Yeah. That one seems pretty hardcore.
Okay, you meet Rachel.
Yes.
Your wife.
Yeah, met her first at a I was leading a Models for Christ thing in Miami, Florida. We meet there. She's actually, I love you, John. She was actually dating a guy that I knew, a friend of mine. They were dating, and he was like, "You got to meet this guy, Caleb. You're gonna love him."
Well, she really loved him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they were there and we're hanging out. We go play volleyball, beach volleyball after. And me and Rachel actually argued the first time we met over Carl Lentz of Hillsong. That was our first meeting.
Funny.
We argued over that because she came from a charismatic background. I was a reformed guy.
Yeah.
That's a whole other story. But which I'm sure you'll go there. But anyways, that was our first little thing, was that argument. And then I go to LA. We don't see each other for, I guess, 6 to 7 months. I'm like, hey, if you're ever in LA, hit me up. Let me know. I'm out there. Like, she was flight attending.
You met her, and then 6, 7 months later, you actually...
Yeah, 6, 7 months later, I see her again, and she's flying into Burbank Airport. And I'd been living in LA now for about going on a year, Burbank. And she has a layover, and there's a storm. There's a hurricane, so she's not leaving for like 4 days. And so she's like, hey, I'm here. You want to hang out? And I was like, yeah, let's go hang out.
Is she still dating?
No.
This guy? Okay.
No. So she comes in. We hang out for like 2 days. And, she'll say, like, we go sit on the beach. And I was at a point in my life, and she was too, where I was ready to move on to that next level.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm tired of the single years. Like, I'm done. I'm 28, 29. I was like, it's time. Like, if I'm going to do it, if I'm going to get married and have kids, it's got to start. Like, no more holding out, no more time wasting. And so I was on the prowl, and I was looking for a wife.
Is this, because you were in my wedding, is this after my wedding?
When did you get married?
August.
Yes.
It had to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
was she a model?
She was.
Okay.
She modeled. Girls age out a lot faster than guys. She was at the point of modeling and flight attending. So she was on a private jet flight company out of Miami. She loved it. I mean, she was making great money to get to fly around and visit all these crazy cities. But I asked her some of the hardest questions imaginable. And that's just how I was. I mean, I'm always that way. But now I'm like, all right, where you at? Boom, 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 right? And so we had really in-depth conversations. And then she goes back to Florida, and we keep having in-depth conversations every day. We're on the phone talking. And when we got to a place where I was like, this could be something. Like, this really could be something. I flew to Florida and hung out for a couple of days because I was like, we need to be in closer proximity.
Yeah.
Hang out for a couple of days. We realized it was very simple for me. She loved Jesus. We were sexually attracted to each other. I felt like we could live life together.
Pretty babies.
We could. Yeah, and we could live life together. I was like, we get along. Like, we could live life together. Probably should. I would have wished I would have dated a little bit longer.
Actually done premarital.
No, we did some. Daniel brought that up. He was wrong. We did 3 or 4 things of premarital. I'll tell you what we didn't have time in the premarital process. I think is meant to, you have the moment and then you have time to reflect upon the moment, and then you have the next moment. Ours were just back-to-back moments. I don't think there was ever time to reflect upon the moments.
Daniel, I just love that every time we brought this up in a podcast, he's like, I had premarital.
He did.
The thing about premarital that I didn't really do is like, so did you do it? Did you not do it?
Yeah. So how much can you do in 2.5 months?
Right.
I mean, so that's what they're wanting me to tell you. We got married in 2.5 months.
From dating.
From dating our first date, right? And
which, to be fair, if you look at some Indian cultures, they don't meet their wife until the wedding day.
Exactly.
So,
we're way ahead of them.
Way ahead.
So what I'll say though is, like, we were in this unique situation where she's in Florida, I'm in LA, and it's like I had to make a decision. Like, was I going to leave modeling and acting and get married and start another career, or was I not? And there was no, like, maybe I will, maybe I won't. Like, I was going to have to take her, from that, or we're just going to try to do this marriage thing, long distance, or I'm going to go model in Miami. No, I was getting tired of it anyways.
Yeah.
I'm not going to live a modeling life in Miami while she flies around, and that would have been horrible for our first few years of marriage. I don't know if it'd been much worse now I look back on it. It might have been okay, but so we were like, all right, let's do it. Like she was ready, I was ready. It's like, let's get married, right? So we get married. Everybody's like, what? Yeah. I move back to Statesboro. I was gonna go do be a GA. I wanted to get into college football coaching.
Yep.
I'm there for like 2 weeks, maybe.
Yeah.
And my wife was like, I can't do this. Like, no way. Like, no, nada. And a lot of that comes from her past. She was married before me.
Yeah.
She got took to a place much like Statesboro. Ended up.
A little PTSD.
A little PTSD going on.
Yeah.
Her husband ended up cheating on her.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Yeah. So she was having some PTSD. And she had only known me really for 2.5 months.
Yeah.
Right. So
now she's like, oh crap.
So
I'm back
part of
again.
our story was I got bitter because I just told a coach that I was going to be there the next year. And I never do this. Like, I never tell somebody I'm going to do something and then I got to back out 3 or 4 days later. I'd given Matt had stuck his neck out for me.
Right.
I had told this coach, and I was about to have to walk back into his office and go, dude, I am so sorry, but I'm newly married and my wife is just not going to make it up here right now. And I had to do that, and that was hard on me, like really hard. So we leave Statesboro.
What particularly made that hard for her? Was it the amount of time that you?
Oh man, I mean, look, the amount of time I was going to be committing was 12, 14-hour days. You go look at GAs; they don't get paid $800 a week.
She's in a city.
A month. Sorry, she had no idea. And Statesboro.
Yeah.
And we were there in Statesboro when summer.
Oh yeah.
So Statesboro in the summer, there's nobody there, right? So her only experience with it was we're in the top of a garage living. And there's nobody around. She looks out the window and it's like, where am I at? Yeah. Right. Yeah. So again, I'm not blaming her. I get it. The whole scenario was tough for her. But it's hard. It was hard to do that. And so I do that. I go back and I'm like, hey, you want to go back into modeling and acting? I don't care. Like, you want to go that direction? She's like, no, we're not doing that. So I was like, what am I going to do then?
Yeah.
Right. And so I ended up going and coaching for a year, high school coaching. Realized inside of that year that I'm probably not made out to be a high school coach. Had a really bad story about something with a kid, and I was like, I'm gonna go to jail. Like, I can't do this.
Can you share that?
We can at least say it wasn't sexual.
No,
the way you're going with it right now.
No.
Can we rule out?
Sorry. So, a Down syndrome kid that helped me on the field was walking through the school and he was wet. I was like, what happened to you? And a kid had sprayed him with a water hose. He was going to the principal's office. And I told him no, he wasn't. And we went back out to the place where the kid was. And I let him have it. And he had that little shit-eating grin on his face like, you're a teacher, you can't touch me. And I was like, okay, watch me. And I took the water hose. And I might have sprayed him back. and so, I got called to the principal's office the next day. I went and told Coach Pogue that day. I was like, I may not be a quarterback coach tomorrow. I just need to let you know what happened. And Coach Pogue's laughing, of course, And so I was just like, I realized my wife she was freaking out. She's like, you're going to jail. We just got married. And I was like, I'm not going to jail, not for long. Like, it won't, I'll be out. I was like, I don't think you'll go for long for this. But if I'd have been anywhere else but the place I was, I would have gotten major trouble probably. But the place I was had my back. I had to sign a letter from the central office and do a lot of that jazz. I remember telling them, I was like, I'll sign it if you'll take that line out. And it was like I wasn't acting like a role model. And they took it out. And I was like, I was acting like I'd do it again. I was like, it's exactly what every other boy in the school should have done. And then I wouldn't have had to do it. But I had so many passions around the school because of my desire to actually inject masculinity back into the school system again.
Yeah.
And I just realized like I might not be able to do it. I could do it on a sports field.
Right.
But like in the schools, like all of our systems are destroying masculinity altogether. Mm-hmm. Right. And I just come out of a culture in modeling and acting that was trying to destroy masculinity. Yeah. I wasn't walking back into another one, which high school education is that.
At least one is overtly modeling, like overtly trying to get rid of it. Yeah.
Yeah, but high school systems are 100% trying to destroy the masculinity in boys.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, like the idea that you should never fight in a school, which has been around since
zero tolerance.
Yeah, zero tolerance for fighting. I'm like, well, that teaches a boy that there's nothing worth fighting for.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then when he gets out in the world, you know why we have a bunch of divorces? Because boys have learned there's nothing worth fighting for. Right? There are things worth fighting for. There are things worth physically fighting for.
Yes.
Right? Absolutely. And so it's a moronic thing for our school systems to do, but they do it because it's more comfortable and they don't care about the long-term trajectory of these boys. But it's a more comfortable thing for them to do. Just don't fight at all.
Or it's a sinister,
nasty thing. Right. But so like I was just like, yeah. I was like, I'm not doing this. Like I ain't being a part of this crap again. Like I'm done. Right. So again, went into business from there, and the rest is history.
All right, business, entrepreneurship. You start up a gym. Do that with your wife.
Started up a gym with my wife, went into sales, then eventually that sales job turned into starting a metal fabrication business, and then from a metal fabrication business, I started a burn-off business, which was kind of synergistic with my metal fabrication business, and then from there I started something totally not synergistic, but was a paver turf business with my cousin.
So you got a lot of irons.
I got Yeah.
Okay.
3 kids along that path too.
And 3 kids. Yeah. Along that path. All right, we've touched.
That's pretty much the whole show, man.
Yeah, that is.
We've fleshed them out. Yeah. So me and my wife, I'd say this for all those men out there, just to help you. Me and my wife, because we always insinuate this on shows, right? Yeah. We come from massively different backgrounds, right? And if most people ain't made it this late in the show, so I'll be a little more
be more lax on
what I say. Yeah. She came from a highly charismatic background, even in a church environment where her mom and dad were co-pastors. And still to this day, her mom is a female pastor of a church.
Which you support 100%.
Not a chance. I am 100% in disagreement with that. Like I don't believe there's any biblical basis for that. In fact, I believe it's a bad thing. But we went on a journey together. We went on a journey together from this charismatic background to this reformed man, traveling down this stream. And early on, we didn't have good conversations. I think early on, my wife was like, "Who in the hell did I marry?" Right? Like, what have I done? Which I understand.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there was moments where I about got arrested one night in a flag football game.
Yep.
And you remember that night?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So I started something happened, and I was getting ready to fight the whole other team, and my wife's like, "What is he doing? Oh my gosh," and yeah. So there was little moments like that where she was just navigating that world, from my theology to like me and her dad are not the same. He is much more passive in that area. I'm a hyper conflictual guy. Yeah. And so we had a lot to go through. And so early on in our marriage, we were both at a place many times we were like, dude, we should just got an annulment and called this thing a day. And then we had this beautiful little life that right in the middle of like thinking about divorce, I get a phone call, I'm pregnant. And I'm like, well, there goes that idea. Yep. That ship has sailed. Yep. And this beautiful little boy named Josiah, and we named him that because, again, now that you know my background and the apologetics drive and everything, I was like, we're coming into a day and age where men are going to have to pick up the Word of God again and go, there is a God in heaven.
Yeah.
And this is his law.
Yes.
And I was like, that's his name.
Dust it off from the recesses of your home. And,
that's right.
Yep.
And put it up. So it's where we got his name from. So my name was really impactful in my life.
Yeah.
My dad always called me back to my name. You know, I feel like I, in some ways, embodied Caleb. I could just see him going in the promised land like, damn y'all for keeping me out of here for 40 years. And that mountain, it's still mine. And I'm getting it. He's just like, got his little cane going up the mountain swinging.
Dude, I love how the Bible says that both Joshua and Caleb, their strength was the same as it was when they entered the promised land the first time. Yeah.
That's right. They're like, can't believe y'all kept me out of this for 40 years. You know, yeah. So my name was very impactful. You know, I always leaned into my name. If I ever got scared or I ever didn't want to do something, it was like, what would Caleb have done?
Yeah.
Nah, he would have taken it.
Yeah.
Right? He would have went for it. So I wanted to give that to my boys and my daughter. And so, you know, that beautiful life comes in, and Josiah had to go through the hardest part of our marriage, right? Mm-hmm. And I still to this day see some things that he battles with because he went through the hardest part of our marriage, right? And I have to now navigate those waters with him, understanding of some things that he picked up.
Got it.
Going through those harder parts, right? He's the most emotional kid we have.
Yeah.
Right, and a lot of that comes from he was brought up first few years in an emotional home. Yeah. Right, and these are the consequences that we caused, and now we're having to work through with him. So those things matter.
What guys, Caveman community, he's going through a hard time in his marriage right now. What encouragement would you give him?
Man, God is faithful. God is, right? I said it on this podcast before. We went through a season where you just had to fake it till you make it. And what I mean by that is you press in to God's word and what God says. And if God says it, I remember praying a prayer. God, I can't remember who prayed this, but I held on to this a long time. God, command what you will and give what you command, right? So God, command what you will and give what you command, right? God brought it together. Let no man separate it.
Yeah, amen.
Right? And so no matter how long we have to live in this awful situation, we're going to press into it. And if we press into it long enough and we try to be Christ to one another, and we still fail, but like we failed a lot early on, right? Yeah. But it was always about repentance. It was always about coming back together. It was always about forgiving one another. Like divorce happens because people, they forget how much they've been forgiven.
Yeah.
That's when divorce happens, right? You totally forget how much you've been forgiven.
Yeah.
And you're like, man, you don't know what they did to me. And I'm like, you don't know what you did to Christ.
Yeah, amen.
I'm like, dude, you totally misunderstand who you are.
Yes.
Right? You have a you problem right now.
Yeah,
right? You think you're way better than you are.
Yes.
Right? And so, you know, me coming from that total depravity background, reformed, I'm a 5-pointer. I mean, like, I get my depravity. Yeah. Right? I'm fully aware of my depravity. Right? And I think my wife, slowly, not coming from that background, but as I talk the way I did, and she's coming into that realization as we both understand our depravity before the Lord and how much grace and patience and endurance that he's had with us, it allows us to go, okay, like your sin was towards the Lord way before it was towards me.
Yeah, right.
You sinned before God, before you sinned against me.
Yeah.
Right. And so that allowed us to start to slowly come back in. And then the feelings came back at some point. Right. Yeah. And we fell in love again, all over again. Right. And and we started enjoying each other again. And that's the part of saying God is faithful. You might be in a place where you're like, man, I could never love them again, or I'm never going to enjoy them again. And I'm like, that's not true. That's just not true. Right. Because God is bigger than all of that, than your feelings and all of your situation. I don't care what happened. God is bigger than that, and he's in the business of redeeming and restoring and showing off.
Yeah.
Right?
Amen.
Just showing off.
Amen. Right? Loves to have the odds stacked against him. And then he's like, right.
Because that's when you can only go, oh,
it was him. Yeah, totally. Yeah,
I can't take nothing for this. There's nothing I got. I screwed it up.
Yeah,
he fixed it.
Yeah.
And we talk about this a lot with the whole caveman in men is community. So I assume you did all of this on y'all's own, right?
What? All what on our own?
Your struggles through marriage.
Oh no, Daniel was there for every step of the way. Whether he
Quite
wanted to be
literally
or not.
Or not.
No, our community. Let's see, our community started, Daniel, at the barn one night with just a cookout, right?
Yeah,
it was us.
You and Rachel had kind of hosted it.
Yep, and y'all came. Who else came?
I want to say the Johnstons, the Cokers.
That was it.
That was it.
Yeah, that was it. I think
maybe.
So. I don't think the Brookses have come
yet. His wife. The
Thompsons.
Yeah,
they might have been there.
Yeah.
So that's how we got started, right? And we were like, we should do this more.
Yeah.
Right, and it kind of picked up, and then the Brookses came in from Tunnel Hill.
Yep.
And we started being more intentional.
Yep.
We started pressing into it more. We started sacrificing and pulling away from things that we were doing to give to that. Like that's a big part of it. Like you have to start eliminating things you are doing to put into what you want to do.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, that quite literally not only saved, I would say, me and my wife's marriage, but it also helped Ryan and Jenny's marriage.
Oh yeah.
Right. It helped. I mean, I'd say at one part or another, it's helped all of our marriages.
Hands down, my marriage. Every guy has got to have guys that he can relate to about what he's going through and be able to say, hey, can I just tell you what's going on?
Can I bounce this off of you?
Yeah. And if you don't have that, then you're that lone sheep, man. Yeah. And sheeps are not predators.
You will die.
You will. Yeah. Yeah. That's good. Okay. You obviously have a wide berth of experience and background. Why Caveman?
So, Caveman is something that
basically you are doing so many different businesses. You could spend your time doing so many other things, right? God's given you a lot of gifts, right? Why Caveman?
There's a fatherlessness crisis in this world. And I always thought about the fatherlessness crisis from a place of, well, if you don't have a father, you won't know how to be a father, right? And then what about what's going to happen to your kids? And then it perpetuates itself, right? That's the way I always thought about it. And that's true. But I think something far more dangerous than that is that when you don't have a father, you don't know how to be a son.
Yeah.
And the reason that's far more dangerous is because in the spiritual, the real relationship that matters the most, we are the sons.
Yeah.
We are not the fathers. Right? We are only called to do our best to depict the fathers to our sons, but we are the sons. And so my passion behind Caveman or anything that I do with young men or old men or whatever, man, is to think through where are they lacking if they didn't have a father? Where are they lacking in understanding what it means to be a son? Right? And then how can I reconnect that? So, for example, if you didn't have a good dad that disciplines you well, God may be disciplining you, and you might think it's from the enemy.
Oh, right. Yeah,
and it very much is most likely from God.
Yeah.
Right? And you're mad at mad at the enemy for getting on you, and it's like, no, man, hey, that could be very much, that's God.
Yeah.
God? Well, he's not good then. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
You never had a dad that disciplined you well.
Yeah.
Right? You don't understand that sometimes that discipline's painful.
Yeah.
But it's because you were going in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's little things like that. And so the relatability to the father has just a massive disconnect because we don't know how to be sons. Right? And so that, for me, was like, how do we create a group of men that can come together and compete? Because I think physical conflict, discomfort, competing, all of that it like calls out to the masculine soul.
Yeah.
Right. And you need strength, and you need that masculine soul, and you need that aggression. And then in that moment is where you come in and go, what does it mean to be a son?
Yeah.
That soft side, right?
Yeah,
that
yeah.
compassion side, that side that most men don't want to connect with. They don't want to relate to. They don't want to go back to, right? And so we have all of that at the Caveman, right? We have all of those things coming together. And so that's why I love it. We're teaching masculinity all over again. And that's a part of true masculinity, is being honest and reaching back into your heart and your soul and trying to connect to that little kid that just wants to sit at the foot of his dad and just know that it's going to be okay. Yeah. Right. And that's in every man's heart, whether he's ready to admit it or not. Yeah. I mean, I tell a story all the time in my times, and this comes back over me from time to time again. When I was really going through my agnostic period and coming back into faith, where I got to is I felt like a kid that was born into a time of war. And his dad was overseas fighting. And that's what he'd been told anyways, right? And as he got older, he was getting letters. And mom would give him the letters, right? And he'd read the letters, and he was excited about the letters. And then at some point, the letters just weren't enough, right? And at some point, he starts doubting, does dad really exist? Is mom writing these letters?
Yeah, right.
Right? Like, I don't know now. Like, I haven't seen dad. I haven't got, like, I'm just reading letters, right? Yeah. And I got to this place where I was like, man, I'm so sick of letters. Right? I'm like, God, if you're there, I need you, not just a letter, not just a book. Yeah. A book's not enough for me. Yeah. Right? I need to be that kid that can sit down as a son and read the word and know the Father is speaking it over me. Right? And until I get there, I will not be happy. Like, it's not enough to be a religion. It's not enough to be any of that. It's got to be more than that, right? Yeah. And God met me there, right? So,
was it a moment? Was it a process?
Yeah, it was definitely a process. But I can pinpoint, like, in prayer and fasting and some moments where God really, like, prayer. I'm a firm believer in prayer and fasting. Like, God meets us when we dedicate time to God. And do it the way he tells us to do it, and worship the way he tells us to worship. He'll meet with us. Right? We don't get to go before God however we want to, though. Right? He doesn't tell us that. He tells us how to worship, right? And so there's been some really beautiful moments of just God feeling God speak over me through his word. Right?
That's good.
Yeah.
That's really good. Brother, I know we could go on. Probably we have. We've
coffee break. Part two in a minute.
Yeah, part two. We could go on for hours. It takes me back to playing Rook, 6 a.m. in the morning. No, I mean, just all throughout the night.
Yeah, Philip, all throughout the night, and I was the only one with the final exam the next morning. They got to all sleep. We literally went from 10 o'clock to 6 a.m., and I was like, bro, I got a final at 7:30.
You're fine.
You'll be all right.
Do you even remember what it was about?
Heck no.
No,
it didn't matter. What did it matter? I remember the Rook game, though. It was awesome.
Hey, before we end it, anything else you want to say to the Caveman community?
I'll say this. I'll say, men, we spend a lot of time doing a lot of things that don't matter. A lot of time doing a lot of things that don't matter. And we always seem to make excuses with time. All right, we don't have enough time. We don't have enough time. I make it a priority of mine. I have a list that I carry around, and it's people that I call. I call at least one man every day. Every day. Yeah.
I can attest to that for sure.
To their annoyance sometimes. Yes. Yeah. Right. It's like sometimes they'll pick up and go, man, I'm working. I'm like, all right, just call. What do you need? I don't know. Just call and check in.
Which is odd when you think about you being a loner.
Yeah.
But that you actually do that.
Yeah. So that's just an important thing. Like, cause I've realized, like, you never know what's on the other end of that phone.
Yeah.
Like, you never know what somebody's going through.
Yep.
And I never want it to be said that somebody that I knew lived in a space for a year and nobody ever asked, right?
Amen to that.
And so, like, making time for the things that matter is by far the most important thing in life. And my relationship with the Lord, with my wife, with my kids is priority number one, my extended family. And after that, it's other men. Mm-hmm. Right? That's it. I love golf. Hear me. I love golf. Mm-hmm. I love competing. I love certain things, but not at the sake of, those things are worth sacrificing for man community. Right? They're worth it. Nothing like, all of that doesn't matter if I'm not building up the kingdom of God. And if those things aren't doing that, why am I doing them? Yeah. We're running out of time. We don't have a lot of time left. 39.
Yeah,
38? 39? 39. I think I'm
39.
39. Like, I don't have a lot of time left in this world. I got very little time left to love God with all my heart, with all my soul, and with all my mind. Yeah. And then I'm going to be with the King. And then I don't get to show God how much I love him because it's all good there. Yeah. There's no sacrifice to be made when I get in heaven. Yeah. All my sacrifice that I have left is right now. Yeah. And when that's over, I'm with the Lord. Yeah. So don't waste time on things that don't matter. That would be my advice.
That's good. Why don't you end us?
Yeah, no doubt. Father God, thank you so much for Daniel, for Philip, for their life and the men that they are and what they mean to me. Thank you for this ministry. Thank you for the Caveman. Thank you for all the men that have come and taken part in the Caveman Combine and have become a part of our community. We pray, God, that you would continue to lead us and guide us and direct us into the men that you've called us to be, that we would stand firm in the face of temptation, in the face of struggles, that if there's any man out there right now, God, that is thinking about divorce or having problems with his children or anything, as a man that's supposed to be leading his home, we pray that you would speak truth over him. We pray that he would find community with other men that would speak truth over his life. And we just pray that we would continue to be a ministry that is constantly in pursuit of your heart and what you desire for us to be when it comes to supporting and helping other men walk along this path. We love you and we thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Awesome. See you guys.
I guess we'll do this.